hello. Hello, and welcome.
Yo,
Yo, yo.
welcome to 19 degrees.
Yeah, I heard it was like below zero, a wind chill of minus 26 over there.
Not here. No wind this morning. We're lucky.
Well, that's the killer is the wind. Cold is tolerable when ain't the fucking wind. The wind is worse than any ass kicking you ever got. Ooh, we started off the show with 4 people already. My God. There must be outsiders. Thank you, thank you. Oh, lost one already. What are you gonna do, man? What's going on other than the cold weather? You bundled up 3 layers of clothing and all that shit?
Hell no. I got shorts on. I'm inside.
Shorts on, you got a hairy leg, huh?
Wait, gotta mute it till I flush the toilet.
Yeah, I had to fucking drop a deuce there, man. Oh my God.
See, we must be like women. Once they start yapping at each other for a long period of time, then you get on the same cycle. I think you and me, Guy, on the same. We're on the same shit cycle.
I'm thinking,
Except
my God, I must.
yours is at night and mine's in the morning.
Yeah, mine. Well, what I used to get when I worked on days, I'd go in the shower right away. I'd get up 2 hours prior anyway. I just had to mentally prepare myself for the effed up day that was coming.
From what I remember when I was in the Philippines, sometimes it was like every 15 minutes.
Oh.
I wasn't used to eating all the new shit.
So, I take a shower and everything all squeaky clean. I get out after I get dressed, I feel that shit drop. Man, not the beginning of the day, Hey, Craig. Ugh. But anyway, man, I'm thinking movie Alien because I don't know if I ever had any 2-footers, man. I've been sitting in a Guinness book for a long time now.
They're starting to look like anacondas now. I'm getting a little worried.
Yeah, this one.
I'm like,
well,
shit,
this one
I didn't eat that much. Damn.
This one broke up like the Titanic, though. I kind of root for it, that nice, clean as a whistle kind of thing. But I got real close. Morning.
It's good that it's not the Hershey Squirts, but man.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to call in a snake handler pretty soon.
Yeah, and no, I used to. I would take my apple cider vinegar in the morning, and my wife would make eggs, scrambled eggs, and they used. I'd rather use extra virgin olive oil, but they used canola oil. And about 20 minutes after I ate them eggs, boy, I'd run downstairs like I was a fireman,
Yeah.
What's new in the gossip, sir? The chismis here.
Don't know. Don't deal with it. I got a P9 Christmas party to go to tonight, so.
No, you can drink all you want.
It depends. My wife and my 2 daughters are going. Well, one daughter's birthday, so.
Yeah, happy birthday.
We're just having it like a little fire hall, volunteer fire hall. They got like a social hall. We're not running the party. One of her friends is running it. So.
First time I took my wife to the mall in Milwaukee, it's like they can seek out each other. A Filipino came right up to my wife because we looked at her. You can kind of guess right most of the time. But she asked me for permission to get her phone number. I'm like, well, yeah, of course, go ahead. That's before she got indoctrinated to the United States.
We were in Costco yesterday, and yesterday or the day before, and this woman, they put out samples, and
Uh,
this woman, I figured she was Filipino, because I had heard her talk to a customer, and my wife showed up and she asked her, and this woman was, yeah, she was like Tagalog. She was from around Manila. And she said, "Oh yeah, my husband." She's old, she's like our age, and she said, "My husband's a airline pilot." I said, "Oh, was
uh,
he prior military?" And she said, "No." I was like, "Oh, that's okay." Because most guys our age, if they're pilots, they're commercial pilots, they had some
yeah,
kind of military, experience. But
yeah.
he was the exception, I guess. And but man, was she skinny? Oh, she's
Is she
nothing but
what?
skin and bones, skin and bones. You know,
Well,
she looked like
he
a
knows
walking skeleton.
he knows you can trust her. Unless your
Like, man,
story
I
was.
can loan I can loan you about 50, 60 pounds.
Give her a sandwich.
Yeah.
Hey, buy me two of them. Give me two of them subs and keep one for yourself.
Jeez. I guess she couldn't
Hey,
have kids because she said she adopted two girls from the Philippines.
me
She
and
said
my
one turned out good, and the other one she said not so good.
it's a, you never know what you're gonna get. My cousin and his they both worked at the same company I did in the factory there, Master Lock, and it's about 13 years ago now. We had a family reunion, what family there really is. And because they said, "Oh, we're thinking about having a kid." I said, "Well, Ruth, how old are you?" 45. I said, "I don't
What?
know, man."
What?
I said either
45?
because at the time she was 45, and because she's a dental hygienist and he's an electrician, and they got freaking buku property, all kinds of shit.
But
So
zero
they got
kids.
no, yeah. Well, my his brother too. He don't have any, and the sister don't have any. But the oldest brother had two kids, two boys. So I said, "Man, these guys are going to have it made." They said they would have. I said, "Well, when you adopt, it's a crapshoot, man. You don't know what you're going to get.
Oh, she was at 45. She wasn't trying to have her own. She was going to adopt.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
No, 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 no. She wanted to have her own.
Oh,
She could have, but she would have
yeah.
had
It's very
probably no.
risky.
Yeah, well, my mother-in-law did it. I mean,
My mother had. Let's see. I had a baby brother born in '68, so she would have been 40, 43, 44, and he had some kind of birth defect. He only lived a month. But I was
oh,
young. I was like 6 years old. I didn't understand what was going on, but all I knew
my,
was, I was going to have a baby brother, and then I only remember one time. I guess they got to bring him home from the hospital. There was a bassinet in the middle of our living room. And that's the only memory I have, because he was like had to
yeah,
always be in the hospital. I don't know. She never said what the birth defect was, but
uh,
because so when you have kids in your 40s, it gets kind of risky. So
well, it is, but they were just, uh, I knew them both. I mean, she worked where we worked, and I said, well, I don't know, man. I go, you know what, either way, you're not, if you don't know, if you never had, you won't know, but probably the best thing that ever happened to anybody, really, birth of a child. Better,
yeah, I
better
mean it's
than
like you and me. Growing up, hell, everybody had at least 3, 5, sometimes 7 kids.
yeah. I
All the
got five.
families were kind of big families.
Yeah, my mom had 11.
Yeah.
Dad
I
only
think
had
my,
two.
my mom's side had 8 and my dad's side had 7 or 8. So I had a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins,
Yeah,
man. A lot of them.
yeah, so it sucked in her butt cheeks, huh? Yeah, yeah. So I
But
said,
I
no,
I got, let's see, my 4 older kids. My oldest son's the only one that's given me grandkids so far. The next
yeah,
3, I don't think they're ever going to have kids. They have no desire to have kids. So I don't know.
I wouldn't undo it. To sit here and say I wish I wouldn't have had any. It didn't work out that way. Actually,
No,
that's the best.
I'm absolutely glad I have all of them. They're all, great.
Oh yeah,
I'm grateful that I have all of them. They're all good kids. They're healthy.
yeah,
Uh, some of them don't speak to me, but hey, that's their own issue. They're adults
yeah.
now and they have their own way of thinking, and it doesn't coincide with mine, I guess. So, you know, I
Yeah.
guess
Well,
we're boomers, right? So,
yeah, by 3 years.
but
Yeah, what happened today? What
they don't
happened
real
today?
they won't realize till they get our age. Then, we've seen everything. We thought everything they're thinking about, but they think
Yeah.
we have no clue. So,
Did you get the video? I
yeah,
sent you?
yeah, yeah, that's nice. Your house looks good.
Yeah. You
That's
know
a
what?
long ass driveway. That's like a tunnel. You got your own.
Yeah, it's just
What happens
145.
when it rains? Does the water pool up in there, or is it kind of slope down towards the road,
A
or
little
what?
bit. Well, it's kind of down, but the eagle eye there, he wasn't always on, so he went
I
and
noticed
sat.
like there's no like drain holes right at the bottom of the walls going
No,
down your
no,
driveway
no,
for water to kind of seep out, right?
no. He was trying to pitch it, but some spots it stands, but it doesn't take long to dissipate.
Yeah,
He
but it
he
doesn't
had
it's not sloped towards your house, right? So yeah,
no, man. I mean, it's nine. I got 9.5 feet high. I got 3.5 feet of dirt down there, plus the wall is 6 foot high. And when you get down to the other end, it's a little more than that, probably 6'4". But
yeah. It looks
he
like you
went
got a nice carport there, right?
he went and finished. Well, I'm not done with it yet because I'm extending it across the front, the other side.
Wow, all the way across.
Yeah, all the way to the fence. Actually, he's gonna put up a solid wall like I had for the other side.
Yeah,
So that I don't think I'm gonna be pitching it at that point because that's only another 5 feet, maybe 6, and might just have to drop it down lower, or something like that, a little jog, and put up some, what do you call it? I forget the name of the stuff, and I should know. I use it all the time. A span rail, little drop, have it face, because but it's hard it's well with all the stuff there. It's a pain in the ass with the truck, man. You gotta get the right angle when I'm leaving. I gotta get all the way to the left, so I got plenty of room to get around the wall, And
I
they're
noticed in that video whose tuk-tuk was parked in front of your truck. Some of the workers or what?
that was
It was like a trike or a tuk-tuk parked there. Some of the workers.
No, they don't have any vehicles there.
No, you look at your vehicle. You have like a little trike, like parked right at the corner of your driveway.
Yeah, that's the father-in-law's. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, my point was on the driveway there. I mean, you can do it 6 hours to walk on it, but you can feel it. You can feel it soft, how soft it is. But he goes and has either later that day or the next day he went and put a skid of hollow block on there, and I said, man, that isn't set up good enough yet. Well, it'll be okay. No, it wasn't okay as it turned out. Because that's where the fucking water's pools. It stops. Well, then I had him put in these brush marks. I told him they never did that here. I said that's for good footing, so you don't slip.
Right.
You drag it. We got that on the freeway.
With the broom. Yeah, my dad.
Yeah.
My dad was a cement finisher. We did that all the time for sidewalks. You run a broom across it once it's all done.
Well, you can do a push broom. Here they don't have push brooms, to my knowledge, but we had those wicker type
Right.
deals. But yeah, that's I said, why don't you put that in there? He goes, what's that? I said, well, you get good footing, you know. You won't have any you want slip. Of course, you don't have snow, but
Yeah.
if you got any oil or some shit, you know, it'll help you not bust your milling.
Mhm.
So he's been doing it on everything because all the other guys were going, what's that? It probably would have flowed better down the driveway, but like on the freeways now in Wisconsin, they don't go they go against the grain, you know. So you got that little bite when you want to stop, you know. I think they abandoned that channel the water away thing, you know.
Yeah.
They don't do
Yeah,
that no more.
they don't think too much about like disaster prevention, you know, like you're talking about. Putting it there, so like my wife, she'll be like, "Well, why are you doing it that way?" I said, "Well, because of this, and then this happens, and that's to prevent, boom, you know, injury." You
You
know, I'm
know,
like, how do you
it's,
never even think of that? You know what I mean?
it's just,
Our
yeah.
minds work different. I don't know.
I felt like I felt like I had to. What the fuck? Well, why don't you know this? You know, but,
Yeah. It's like if
well,
you dump your dirt or supplies, you know, 100 feet from where you're going to need them, right?
uh,
And you did it all. You shoveled it off the truck by hand into this pile. Now that pile's 100 feet away. So
yeah,
now you got to shovel it and get it back to where you need it, right? Instead of
yeah.
dropping it right beside your work area where you know, I don't know.
Well,
It's just
he could have,
it's called job security, I guess, for the workers. You know, the people who shovel it. But,
yeah. They got a ton of. Now they're starting to put the what do you call it, coat on the walls. What is it? Not skim coats before you paint it.
right. They put another coat after it's painted.
No, 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 no. They put two. They put the concrete wall down. You know, the concrete's thicker, and they just throw it at the wall. You know, with their
Yeah, they skim coat it, and then when that's totally dry, then they paint it with
no.
at least a couple coats.
They go over it after that. Yeah, they go over it after that. It's like because say I got a blue here, and if you want that blue to look like it's supposed to light, you have white. You know, so like a primer only.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I like that sky blue color from the outside of your house.
well, that's not sky blue. That was sky blue before, and I didn't want to mess with a latex, you know. And then because I got the semi gloss, and then I thought, well, fuck, this ain't what I wanted, you know. I mean, every year I used to go to Florida, boy, I'd just be captivated by those colors, and one of them was blue. And so when I'm at the paint store, I went to I went to Wilcon. It's next door to City Hardware. I found out. I went in there and I got a different white. I got a marine white. I think it's made for you know, sun, the harshness of the sun and the salt air or whatever. And I said, well, there's one on there. It says Orleans Tune, like New Orleans, and it has tune. So it looked kind of grayish, and I'm thinking, I don't know about that. I go, what the hell, what the fuck, you know? So I get it, you know, and he primed it. Well, the whole house was already painted. He primed the part that was new. And I said, that's the color that I wanted in the first place. But that, you know, I told him about, because that brand has a tinting code, you know, for the color. And I showed him one from America, and they don't have the tinting codes. They're lost. They're not going to know. But I might have them come back later on next year and prime the other part, because I can see the difference. Because
How long have you been in the house now?
A year and a half, maybe. When did I get in here? I got in here and
Since you moved in there?
Yeah, I got here.
It hasn't been that long.
Yeah, we've been building. We started with the land in last June, something like that. June or August. I think it was August. So we were in the house
Yeah, but you were
from
living at your in-laws, right? And then going up there every day,
yeah.
supervising
Well,
the
yeah.
build.
But we moved in there in what was it, in January or October? So we've been in there a year.
Oh wow.
Well, I got one worker. He's been here the whole year and a half. You know, her uncle started it. I think he's kind of losing his getting old. You know what I mean? He's only 66 or 65, but he's starting to get kind of forgetful. You know, it's kind of wore his ass out. And the guys that worked for him took advantage of him. So this other guy, I'm thinking, well, what's next? You know, this other guy came and man, I'm getting them currently for $11.68 a day.
Yeah.
So I mean, you the fit and finish of shit. It ain't by Western standards, but for here, it's good enough. You know,
Mhm.
one door you gotta lean into because the thing is not square. That real fucking far from it. But me and the other guy had a laugh. He said, "I'm like, man, how could they not know? Because they always use a square on or an angle. I don't know what do you call it for the measure for they use it when they're doing the walls. They do a straight edge. It's called. It's like it could be anything.
A
It could be wood.
90-degree angle.
Yeah, it could be wood. It could be
Right. It's
aluminum
metal.
or a,
Normally metal.
or a big L. I forget the name of that one.
Right.
The square. And we call it a square. Is that a square?
Yeah. You
Anyway,
might have called it that, right?
yeah, we might. But anyway, I'm trying to be technical here, But he puts one up there. He goes, "Yeah, well, I know. You just fucking hold the square up there, You know if it isn't true, So,
Right.
so his was a little better on the other addition side, but it was about an inch. The floor needed to be up an inch from where he had it. Because in the storage room, he put an extra. Of course, when you put concrete over concrete, it's we put all the boxes in there when it was still curing, So it that one turned out the way it's supposed to. We could put like a linoleum kind of flooring on it if I wanted to, but I can't get no tile on there. I'm not dealing with that shit. I should have just had that section. That back, what's the living room now, is a dining area with a china cabinet and all that good stuff. But as we went along, I thought, well, why don't I do this? Yeah, I need some parking here because underneath the parking that was part of in the blueprint there, if you got a little Suzuki, whatever the fuck they want, the little cars, you might be able to get that in there, but you're not going to get not the truck, not even the mine. That's more suited for if you got a Rusi.
When I was stationed in Okinawa, I had a little Mitsubishi mini car, and it was 3-cylinder. It might have been 2 cylinders, but at 550 cc there was a limit. I think had to be under 600 cc, and to be qualified as a small car or something for parking or something. But it had 10-inch rims on the tires.
Oh, what 10?
So your riding mower at home probably had bigger rims than this car,
Yeah.
And it was a little manual. And I tell you what, of course, you're always using the air conditioner, right? You turn that air conditioner on and you only have 2 or 3 cylinders. Don't go too fast, It's more like a Fred Flintstone vehicle,
I was just back then. Chrysler had a partnership with it was Mitsubishi back then.
Oh yeah,
And,
my brother had one. Plymouth.
Well,
something like
a
that.
D50, it was a D50 pickup truck.
Right.
It was like
I owned one of
it was
those.
like, it was a large four-cylinder. That fucking thing would scream, man.
That's what I
That,
bought
that thing,
when I got back from Okinawa in '92. The first thing I did was go out and buy one of those Dodge Ram 50s,
yeah.
and I knew it was actually a Mitsubishi, but I got it. It was silver with a light gray interior, beautiful. I should have never got rid of that truck. But
You
yeah,
kicked
you're
that
right. It
motor.
had the four
Oh,
cylinder,
yeah.
and
Fuck, it was a large four-cylinder. I forget the liter
it was
size,
only
but
like 2.2 liter, but it was enough.
well,
I
now,
think.
now we like, but yeah, but I mean, I'm like, damn, this fucker's fast, man. It was only a regular cab work, but
Right.
that was my first experience because I knew they always partnered with some off Chinese brands, or Japanese brand. And Ford was in partnership with Isuzu. I think Isuzu was that.
Chevy and Isuzu were partners. That's why the Chevy S10 pickup and the Isuzu pickup were the exact same thing.
There's I forget what is that one that's what is it? What brand is it? Ford used to be with
Ford and Mazda.
Mazda. Well, they got rid of
Little
it.
Ranger pickup and Mazda B200
Yeah,
or
Mazda
2000 were the same pickup.
BT, no, BT 50.
B2000.
BT. But anyway, they're partnered with Zuzu now, I think. Something like that. They got a Duramax diesel, but I don't know, man, just looks wise, it just looks so, I don't know. They make a good engine, but I don't know. I like the one I got. If I got rid of my truck that a week later, I'd be mad because, but I mean, if I lose any sharpness here with the driving, man, I'm going to be having paint marks on each side. But
Yeah, you might
right
have
now,
to eventually just hire yourself a driver, or if one of your brother-in-laws or something, you know.
so my sister-in-law, well, first when the first section was done with the covered carport area, the mother-in-law was like, "Oh, RJ, our sister's kid could drive this little battery-operated Formula One car." Like, nah, you see this. You're women for one, and it's a big area. It seems like a big area, but one of them asked me, "What are you going to put over there?" I said, "No, our outdoor furniture. What are you going to put in that spot over there?" I said, "Well, this isn't the parking lot." I said, "When I pull in here, I'll either turn right to back up. Either way, either I back up right away or I back up when I want to leave. But I need all of that open. I'm not uh, curtailing my shit to somebody else so they can put something somewhere that they don't really give a fuck about anyway. You know, because none of them. I said, I told her, the mother of the kid, I said, "Nah, I don't think so, man. Maybe the driveway." I said, "Maybe, but nah," because I told her, and I was honest about it, because he'll drive that fucking thing into the wall and chip the goddamn fucking concrete and fuck up the paint, or he'll run into my car or my truck. He'll do more damage. Like, and to them, when that money don't come out of your pocket, you can give a shit. You know. So after I'm gone is one thing. I told my wife. I said, "You know what? Your sister probably wants to live here with her kid. Then she'll meet a guy, and he'll be living. And once they come here, they'll never leave." And then I said, "What's our son supposed to do when he has his?"
And then they'll have more kids together.
Yeah, well, where's my kids? Him and his wife and his kids are supposed. Where are they supposed to sleep? Fuck that, man. No, I built this thing for her and them. Once her mother's gone, once my wife is gone, that old, down the road, then my son can have a bigger bedroom. But I specifically made it 3 bedrooms, so
Well, you know how it is. They defer to their elders. Their aunts and uncles have more. I don't care if his name's on the title. If the aunt and uncle already live there, guess what? They're going to be, their word is going to be more than his because they're the elder.
Here's what happened. They're doing the driveway, right, or they're getting ready to. And I see the wall on the left side when you're leaving the house. It's not there. There's not one there. There's one on the right, not on the left. I said, why isn't there a wall here? He says, your mother-in-law. I said, what? She told you to? He said, yeah. I said, she came and I said, you might be the boss of your, you guide your children to this day, because I'm always 44 and I'm thinking, when are you going to think for yourself? But you don't fuck with my shit like that. You don't have
mean
money.
When they were constructing your house?
The driveway.
Where you wanted?
The driveway, the walls on the driveway.
Oh, okay. She didn't want one on what, the left side going out?
She didn't want one because she wanted to be able to access her shit real easy. But it wasn't for her.
They live on the property just side of your driveway wall?
Next to me. Not full time yet, but soon enough. And I said, you don't do that to me. Maybe you do that to them, but you don't do that to me. I'm not trying to be rude, but you ain't the one with the money here.
So they have property there and they have not built yet? Is that what it is?
No, they got that wooden piece of shit that's up there.
And they live there?
Yeah, you've seen it on the video.
Is it inside your walls or outside your walls?
No, it's on the outside. It's on their property. They have property next to mine.
Yeah, but your walls surrounding your yard, right? So they're. I didn't see it that part of. I didn't know to look for that in the video. But
if you're going out and you look to your left, the wall's there. Your property.
Yeah, you're going out the driveway.
Yeah,
on the left.
Yeah, there's bamboo made out of. But you know what? When I was inside that place once, I thought, all this headache I've been doing with all this money I spent on this house, I'd have been just content with the fucking place like that,
Yeah, but before you moved into the house, you lived further away, right? Who was that you were living with?
Yeah, further away in the squatter.
You said it's a squatter area, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's why I bought the truck, and then I had the truck parked up there, probably for 8 months before I moved it, until it got to move up there. But you don't do that. You don't. I didn't get into it. When she came around and said, "What's this?" She was, "Oh, I don't care. You can put a wall wherever you want." Well, I didn't challenge her on it. I could have, but there wouldn't have been, because everybody was listening, because they heard me when my voice freaking carries, man. And I said, why isn't there a wall here? What's going on? Your mother. Oh, mother-in-law said that? Don't do this? Because you could come up that road, which is scheduled to have concrete pour in 2026. And the guy says schedule, quotation marks, so it would be an easy in and out. You put down a concrete pad there, But if you ask me, then it might happen. But when you don't ask me, you don't alter my freaking plan. I'm the one paying. I'll do what I want. This is my first build, like my sixth house. So, I told them. I told her when her uncle was there. I said, I don't give a shit what you tell you. This is my house.
So who all lives in her mother's house? Your mother-in-law, father-in-law, anybody else?
The worker's still over there right now.
Oh.
I'm sending 2 of them home when they go back to Bonga on the 23rd.
So your in-laws
So,
still living in the squatters area? Is that what they're?
yeah. She'll come in there when they're done. You know, if I had to put them up, I'd probably have to put them up in my storage room there. You know, but she's got to get her own water. She had to run the hose ain't hooked up yet. It's that plastic PVC. Is that PVC? And it's running underneath my driveway. It's just the hose, you know, that thick plastic.
Right.
I said, and she had them doing that without asking me. I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know? I said, what's the difference? You gotta go down and over anyway. You know, when the meters are by the next road and back of my property. And so if you come up from that, that's east. If you come in west, you have to stop in the front and go south, just like you would on if you cross it at the back of the lot, then you come, you know, west on the other side. I don't understand why it has to be like it is, but you know, because they use my water right now, which still isn't a big deal for the price. I mean, but electricity is plugged in over here for there. So once that's occupied full time, then that'll change. I can't have that. You know, then
Yeah.
if you
From all the horror
you know,
stories I've heard, I would not build there. I would just, and in my situation, my wife doesn't have any siblings and her parents are gone. So, it wouldn't be too much of a hassle, but I would just rent because
she would have.
I've heard so many horror stories about guys building, and then the guys that are in new relationships with much younger, and
Yeah,
then the much younger, once it's built and everything's done, then they kick the old dude out,
yeah.
you can't technically own it.
I've seen guys on videos. One guy was at I forget whose channel it was, but this guy built a house. He was a dentist, you know, and she kept asking him for money, and he kept giving it to her. Then he gets there, and he's locked out.
Yeah, he's like,
He goes,
no, you don't live here. It's my house.
he's like, but he goes, but
Look at the title.
I paid for that.
Right.
But
Don't matter.
you're still supposed to legally have some kind of recourse because
Well, there's that one guy. I saw his website. I think it's called Retiring in Paradise. He just got his young lady just broke up with him or whatever. But he said he's got a 25-year lease on the place he built, or so his lawyer's telling him he can't get kicked out of it or something. I don't know.
Leasing the land. See, you can own the house, but you can't own the land.
Yeah, well, he's leasing something. He said he had a 25-year lease, so he said who knows?
You can buy a condo. I don't know about houses though, because there's two separate things. You know, that's why you always got to ask. But this channel is watching. This one guy we used to talk to in the beginning. I don't know if you remember him. His YouTube thing his name was called Woofin. Dude's from Tennessee, and
No.
he had a real sharp looking wife, and he reminded me of Dan Blocker from Bonanza.
Huh.
So the dude said he used to be an engineer on Chris's last. And I'm like, damn, man, what fucking happened with that? You know, because it looked like a farmer. But anyway, I said I had seen him maybe 2 years more after that. I said, hey man, it's nice to see you. Did you get that house finished? He goes, nah. I didn't ask any more questions, you know. So,
yeah.
You know, he got taken advantage of. But you know, I'm in a good spot here. You know, so I mean,
have you heard from Christian lately?
No, I have. Well,
hey, Christian, you out there? You watching?
Not other than some morning picture. Well, he's busy.
Yeah, I saw a picture on Facebook he just took of one of the streets there.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, there he is. Yeah. Christian's in the chat. How you doing?
Ah, there you go. Yeah, you can do a condo, but you can't do a. Yeah, you can fart, but can't poop. Well, I would see. I would have some legal uh, set in here because if my wife died before me, I could live in it as long well until I die. You know. So
Oh,
I mean, but
did
we
you
got.
get your visa thing you were waiting for?
Oh yeah, I did.
And you got your
Yeah,
passport back?
yeah, a couple weeks ago, a month ago. Man, I got that
Great,
in
Christian.
October.
Glad to hear you're enjoying yourself, Christian. Getting to see all your old
Yeah.
friends.
Hey, yeah. Gonna be there till February. Gonna come go explore Angeles City there, or Angeles, they call it whatever.
And my daughter and her boyfriend are going over to Baguio for Christmas.
Baguio.
Baguio City, up in the mountains. Yeah.
Yeah, Baguio. It's about. They
It's
say
his grandparents' wedding anniversary. Like
it's
70th
Italian.
wedding anniversary. So
Yeah. Well, the
he
only
hasn't
time we have.
he said he hasn't been back since he's 17. So he's only been there twice. He's a Filipino, mother and father both Filipino, born in the States here. He's still active duty. So, but
Oh yeah.
but yeah, they're going for that anniversary celebration and Christmas, I guess. So it'll be my daughter's first time in the Philippines.
Well, you're not coming here then.
Huh?
So I forget what I was gonna say. Yeah, I forgot what I was talking about. Ugh.
We were talking about Christian and Angeles City.
Yeah, after that.
After that,
Yeah. My kid's in school, and the only opportunity we have to go anywhere together is like in May or June for a month. So I tried. I'm trying to talk her into taking. They got that. I think it was 24. I don't know if it was 22,500 pesos or 24,000 pesos. But you could take this because the kid got to renew his passport because he's beyond. He got it when he was real little, so they want you to do it after you hit 5. Then you don't
every
got to
5
do it.
years, I think, for kids, right?
Yeah, it is. It is up to a certain age.
Up
But he'll
till
be
16,
10.
right?
Well, yeah, he'll be 10. So then they'll give him more time on it. But there's a fair. There's a not a ferry, but kind of like one of them fast cat things or whatever they're called. And they leave from Butuan or I think they leave from here, and they dock in I don't know if it's before Manila. They got one stop, overnight stop. I think it's Dumaguete, on the
So
western
what? You're
coast.
thinking of going on vacation during your son's school break?
Yeah, go up there and take care of his thing instead of we could do it by mail, but it's mail, man, and it's
Are you
here.
talking a U.S. passport?
Yeah, he renewed his.
Is he a dual citizen?
Yeah, by birth. Yeah.
So does he have both passports?
Yes, he does.
So how long? Like I know U.S. it's 5 years for children up till 16 every 5 years. What about the Philippines?
I don't
How
know
often?
about that.
Yeah.
For adults, it's 8. I think it's 7 or 8. Mine's 10. Ours
Yeah,
is
for
10.
adult 16 and over, it's 10 years because we just got our daughter once she turned 16, she renewed as an adult, so hers is good for 10 years now.
Well, you know what? It doesn't really prevent you from leaving because as long as you leave out of and come back to on the same passport, then you're fine. So he could leave. He could leave here to go to America, then come back. On a Philippine passport. But it's no hurry. The guy's gonna be in school till he's. I don't know if he's gonna be a
17.
teacher. Yeah, 16 or 17, I think she said they were done with high school. For us, it
So
was
you said
different,
the
but
school break, they get 2 months in May and June? Is that their
no, a
school
month. I
break in
think
the
it's a
school?
month. It's a month.
Oh,
I think it's just a month. I think it's June, something like that. But I thought that'd be an interesting because we've taken the bus before to Naga, bus
is he
ferry,
going
bus
to a
fare.
private school now or public school?
Yeah, yeah, the private school. Every year it goes up the amount. The higher the grade, they don't have 12th grade there, but they got online 12th grade.
Oh yeah.
So she sits with these couple of ladies every day. Must have nothing to do with their at home. They're there every day, and there's a place down the street that they can go to. I guess. I mean, shoot.
I mean, they
If
wait
they
for
go,
the child to get out of school?
well, yeah, they only go up to 11th grade in this school. Probably because of the amount of money.
But
I
no,
don't know.
you
I don't
said,
even,
did you say your wife waits there every day?
yeah, yeah, she's there
Every
every
school
day.
day? At the end of the day? Is that what she's waiting for?
Yeah, they get there at 7, they leave at noon.
Oh. Does she stay there the whole morning?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. I don't know if I'd do that. Well, it's just if she calls me at noon, I come pick her up. I can pull in there in her little. They got like a 5-car parking lot, and then the lady across the street is friends with the dean or whatever she is there. So sometimes they'll park in there, and I'm thinking, fuck that, man. So if she calls me at noon, it takes me 10 minutes to get there.
So what grade is he in? Is that
Fuck, I don't know, man. Third, fourth, who knows?
Oh, okay. And they only go
Oh,
from what, 7 to noon, you said?
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
They have afternoon they have a morning and an afternoon.
Oh, I see.
So you can pick what time of the day you want to go, and if there's not enough students to fill, so there's only about 5 or 6 kids in this class, so that works out real well. He likes to draw. My dad was a sketcher. Matter of fact, my dad drew me he used to go through that. There used to be a school online, not online, wasn't online, but they were out of Minnesota, some art institute or something. And my dad sketched me a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but he made the lips wrong. And but I had it at my house, and I go looking for it to ship it because it's old, man. I mean, he did that when I was like 14 or less earlier than that, 70, like 11 or something. And I've had it all those years, and I put it back at his apartment there for a while until my niece, the Hobbit, I didn't go over there and get it. I should have. Do that before Christmas. So you're gonna go over to, but you're leaving Christian leaving back to Norway after you visit Angeli. I
No, I
would,
thought he said he's in Thailand till February, right, Christian?
yeah. When we were up there to for that interview, I miss being up there, man. I like being around all that. I wouldn't want to drive there. I mean, fuck, oh my God. It's worth every peso to get a ride. We got a ride from the hotel we stayed at that we first met. The floor below that. But they had 2 restaurants. They have another smaller hotel about a half a block away. And they used to have 2 kitchens. Now they only got one, and the one's at the newer building. And so they have to walk it down the street, And it was nice being back to that place, I remember where it was. The cab driver was, I think he shut off the meter for us once we started. A lot of these guys do that, man. They're on the clock. They got when they're at the airport, they got two people at the taxi stand keeping tabs on what number cab picks up how many people. And when we first walked out there, because I knew, not my first rodeo, So this guy's going, the last guy in line, he's like, "Oh, you can get it right for 1,000." I said, "Nah, I don't think so." My wife stopped, like, "Oh, he said 800." I said, "Don't you fucking know better? Come on, fuck him," you know. Oh, he got down to 600, but then he, because the people keeping the paperwork there, could hear him, and I thought, well, you're nothing but a buddy fucker, because this guy in the front here is gonna get fucked out of a ride if I take you, you know. So and it only cost us like two on a good day. They drive like New York to Chicago, New York City. They fly. In Puerto Rico's the same way. Puerto Rico's, when we were in San Juan, we went to Puerto Rico in 2014. It was the guy. We were in like a passenger van, like a club van, like Ford's got that 13-seater, 15, whatever.
Right.
And the guy, dude, pulling. We're sitting in the back, and there's a seat in front of us. We're the only two in there, and this guy cutting people off. They're all doing it, and my glasses go flying off. Like, what the fuck? And I thought to myself, my God, this is like Chicago, I said, here's another place I'd rather take the bus, But as long as I'm around the beach and shit, I don't care. No more Lake Michigan.
First time I went over to meet my wife, I spent 10 days in Metro Manila, and that's where she was living. But we went to that big mall in Makati. I don't know what the name of it is. That Mall of America or whatever?
No, that's Market.
Whatever. This was 24 years ago, Tony. So
that's BGC.
I don't know what was. No, it wasn't BG. It was.
Oh, that was Greenbelt. Either Greenbelt or was either Greenbelt or
Mall of the Americas or something.
The Mall of Asia.
Asia, that's what I mean.
That's the one with the big. That's the one with the big globe statue.
Yeah, I don't remember shit. I wasn't.
But anyway, they used to be able to cross streets, but once you get to where the road starts to enter the grounds, they got you locked in. When you're going in, you're on the left-hand side of the sidewalk. And, they don't let you wander all across. They must have had something bad happen, or there must have been just one big clusterfuck at one time or something. But they got beat out over somebody else built something bigger, probably Robinson.
Don't they have the overhead walkways like they do in Butuan?
Yeah,
at the intersections, right?
Yeah, they do. Matter of fact, they only allow workers in at that time. But because I go, oh man, last time I was in Manila there, or Pasay, the actual hotels, Malaysia's in Pasay, And JB one time said, "Why do they always say that?" And I said, "Because why do they always say Manila? Because people identify it. Think of the Philippines, you think of Manila,
When I went over there the first time, she was actually living in Las Piñas. That's the section of Metro Manila she was in.
What year was this?
2001.
Oh, that's when I started my job at transit.
Yeah, April 2001.
They got one in a not so good part of town. I think Divisoria. They just got buku vendors there, man. If you wanna go to a place where they haggle for shit and get it, you go there. They got a lot of knockoff stuff. Nike.
Where's that? What's it called?
Divisoria.
Uh-huh.
Divisoria. It's either the area or the name of the facility. I think it's the name of the facility. We didn't go there, but I've seen them on a guy named Joseph My Life in Metro Manila. That dude's another freaking unbelievable situation.
My wife's got a real good friend, childhood friend, who's she'd love to meet a foreigner, but she's probably 53 now. Teaches art at the university, one of the universities there in Manila. She's a college professor in art, and she has one son. Of course, he's grown, married off on his own. But ever since my wife met me, she's always said, doesn't he know a good American? I was like, no, I don't want to play matchmaker for anybody, because I don't want to be blamed when it,
Well,
if it all goes to shit,
You'd have to do a lot of. She might have to do a lot of researching, but there's I forget the guys in the channel, but he built a house up there in Baguio, and they call it Baguio, but that's an Italian Baguio. But he was a exec type worker,
Yeah.
and he built a villa. Their house is phenomenal. It's just him and his wife. Guy, well, of course, from the time I first started watching, there's really a big change in appearance for a lot of us.
What's
I was
his name?
watching.
His
I
channel.
forget the guy. I forget, man. I haven't watched it in quite a long time. His videos first started out where he had you get in his Toyota, his Tundra, or whatever. God, I forget the guys. I don't know. They call. He's real good. He's a real good presenter. Real good at it. And I watched it, and I mean, he built it where he ain't that far from people that kidnap people that got money. He goes and builds. This is a villa, man. I mean, you have to be in pretty good shape to walk around that whole place. It's so massive. Because I asked him about he was on the Schwab thing before I even knew what the hell that was. I'm like, banking, because I don't know. I think I had some questions about using the credit card or debit cards or whatever. Because if you what is that? What is that? Wells Fargo has a sister bank over here. I forget which one it is. Union
I heard
Bank.
someone saying that Charles Schwab doesn't. If you use your debit card to get money out, they don't charge a fee or something like that.
Yeah.
One of the YouTubers was when they
Well,
were
there's a
giving
few.
advice.
It's a few of them, but like I said, I like it. I got my little fucking thing where I go take out what I want. I have a choice of whether I want it right away for $4.99, or if I want to wait 3 to 4 days and get it for virtually nothing.
Now, did you say once you die, does she keep getting your pension, or how's that work?
Yeah.
Like for the rest of her life, or what?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I was.
I know. I think the railroad pension's like that, because my wife had an older woman she grew up with from her hometown. She married an American, and he worked for the railroad. He retired from the railroad, and as soon as he retired, she got a pension herself. Separate from his. She got like a guaranteed $1,500 a month the day he retired.
Yeah.
And that's over and above what he gets. So
Yes, yeah. I had them questions because when my father worked at the factory I did, my deal was they started outsourcing to Mexico and China, and Nogales, Arizona is just a shithole, man. I mean, fuck. It looks like the worst neighborhood ever. Very sketchy place, and that was only $800 a month. And I didn't know about that till later on. I'm like, what the? Because when I got hired in '85, and I was making $9 something an hour. I'm single. I work second shift. You know, I'm getting 300 plus bucks a week for the work that I was doing. I'm like, oh, this is fucking sweet. So when my dad, and I don't know why the union why they just never just shut the place down. Cause it was sold from the Source. It was a family called the Source. They sold it to American Brands in 1970. And, anyway, my dad $800 a month. And I mean, their Social Security is like probably double that. He never worked overtime. I think one time he went. He was one of these people that said, I'm only doing my 40. Well, when you get to the end of the road and you only do your 40, you ain't getting shit, you know? So he had to pay extra money so my mother could get half of that, $400 a month. So when I'm retiring, I asked the lady, I said, I remember that situation. And I said, well, after I died, does my wife get like half? She said, no, she gets it all. Oh, really? Oh, man.
For the rest of her life.
Yeah. Made me feel good.
And it doesn't matter where she lives in the world.
No, it don't. No.
Direct deposit in the States. That's what you got to always make sure of.
She told me that, and I'm like, well, it is. I have a bank account already. I'm the one that I handle the business right now. But
yeah, I know. But when you're gone, that's she needs to know how to access.
My son's got access to all that shit, and they're going to have to help her out, to a degree.
Yeah.
So because her and I
always a good relationship too, because.
Dude,
you never know. When people die, family members do strange stuff. Believe me.
Yeah, they do. But listen, even if I were just either legally or not legally separated, I would still have her on there. Right. I can't. I'm not playing no fucking games now. I'm too old for that shit. But anyway, get back to that thing. I was surprised. And I said, but for how long, how long she lived? So really, or that, or 25 some years, I don't know. She'd be, who knows? I mean, 25 years from now, that'd be good. She would be 70, something like that, So I'd be 80, I'd be 25, 80, I wouldn't be 88, maybe 20. I'll take 22 years. Anyway, my son will be, my Theo here will be like, if I live to 85, he'll be like 29 or 30. So, see, everything I've always done since I've been at that freaking bus driving job is for these two, And when other people have ideas about, moving on in, no, man, this fucking place ain't for anyone else but these two. Because when he has his wife, I'm sure he's been married before he's 30, they're going to have a place, and so is their kids,
Okay, Craig, good night. Good talking to you.
Yeah, Craig. Thanks
Happy holidays to you. Don't work too hard.
Ho, ho, ho.
No, Christian's got the ho, ho, ho.
Oh, yeah, he's got the ho. Oh, and Christian got to go before Craig, but they got a Christmas special or something on Hookers?
No, he's just that's a time frame he wants to visit. Do it before Christmas.
Yeah, but evidently he's going back to Thailand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because he's staying there, I think, till February. So the Philippines is just a short vacation for him from Thailand.
Yeah.
So you got what's your visa called now? A13 or A30 something?
Permanent resident, 13A. That means you're
13A. So you're permanent resident, but that's fully reliant on your marriage to your spouse, right?
Yeah, there's different
And
ones.
and you got your passport back in your possession, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good. But I no, the other guys, the guys that go over there and talk, well, guys that maybe aren't married or thinking about getting married, who are veterans and they do the SRRV, that's just dependent on him, the individual, or her,
Yeah, yeah.
him or her, whoever applies for it. And you got to put what, 1,500 down is the latest amount I heard.
No.
But
The rule,
$500 in an account or something, right? You can use it, but you have to put it up originally, right?
the thing is different. There's different levels. If you're
I'm just saying, if you're a veteran, if you're a U.S. veteran, that's the cheapest SRRV. That's what I've been told on the internet.
that or a retiree visa, Michael's
But
McFarland's
the SRRV is not dependent on a spouse there.
neither is the retirement one.
Okay, but the retirement one is, you got to put more money down for that, right?
I don't know. Michael said, I think
Well, the
it's just, yeah,
SRRV is a retirement one. It's just depending whether you're a veteran or not is the stipulation for how much you pay.
you know what? The only time you benefit from that is if you're 50 and you're retired from military, and you got that TRICARE.
Or if you're in a shaky relationship, if you end up not being married or whatever,
You just the only problem with the SRRV one and the retiree one was that during COVID, you could return here if you had a 13A, or come here. You could come here if you had a 13A. But if you had a retiree one or the other one, you couldn't. They would turn you back. People were going, well, I got a retiree visa. Sorry. It was so chaotic here. It was ridiculous. I've never been
that's just one big scam. I mean,
I've never been that stressed in my freaking life. I'm trying to be I'm glad to be back. This is before, and so I paid cash. I'm thinking, okay, my tests come back on a Friday. I paid the money, and Sunday I go. I think this was a money grab here for me, because all of a sudden I get a message.
Yeah, and then your flight's delayed, and they're like, "Oh, sorry,
No, like
2 or 3 day span on your test has expired. You got to have another one."
Yeah, they go
dish out some more cash.
They said,
What a scam!
yeah, the flight's been canceled on Sunday. Would you mind going on whatever, Tuesday or Wednesday? I said, sure. Unbeknownst to me, that the fucking test was only good for X amount of days, and I was 1 day over.
That's why it was officially known as the Scandemic.
But that was only
one
part.
Big freaking scam.
That was only part of it, because that was the cheapest thing I had. I had to take my test again, because that too was beyond, that was beyond the allowable time. So I had to take that again. So both of those were quick and easy, and but I also had to have a letter or something from the barangay over here, saying that she's actually married to me, that this and that. I thought, fucking hey, man, come on. And I'm thinking all this shit I went through, and I get here, and then I'm walking out the thing. The guy goes, wait a minute. I thought, he goes, where are you going? I don't know. I go, I don't know.
I mean, if they do all this checking, how do you have so many guys that are scamming their way,
All they wanted to do was keep track of where it came from, in case some outbreak starts or some shit, And when I was at that one, the guy goes, wait a minute. I thought, okay. Oh, you got kind of like, no, you're going to stop right here. He said, you have where you staying? I said, I don't know. Like I was going to walk away. Oh yeah, okay, man. They gave me the address. I tell them, I said, you want my phone number or hers? Because I had a Philippine phone number. And then that was it, finally. And every time, at every step of the way, it was something. Just when I thought I was done with this shit, here comes something else. Oh my God. And so you can imagine my relief when I got here. When I got here, man, and I was sitting outside, I was so freaking happy to be back finally. You know, I like that area up there. If I had if my wife had a profession or something, I might have lived
That's
around.
when you were relieved once you got to the quarantine hotel, then you were relieved, right? Because all you had to do was serve your sentence in the quarantine
Yeah,
hotel before you could move on to Butuan, correct? How
yeah.
many days was that?
I don't even know. I think that was
Like a week, five
nah.
days,
It
4?
was shorter than that. I think my test was on a Friday. I think I arrived on
And you
Wednesday or
had to pay
Thursday.
what, $75 a night for that hotel, something like that?
Yeah, yeah.
What a
Something like that.
scam. What a
Yeah,
freaking
yeah.
scam. That's
Well,
all it was. It was a control test, you know. To It was a test to see how much they could control society.
well, all their action here, they took after America.
I
Everything had
know.
changed.
And then the people in charge of it have come out and said, "Oh, that 6 feet apart, that was all just bullshit. We just came up with that. That was just, there's no scientific, you know."
Well, I
They're
think
coming out
somebody,
now and admitting that, "Oh, that was all bullshit. The vaccine, yeah, we knew it wouldn't prevent getting it, you know." So,
that almost that fucker almost killed me, man.
uh,
Fuck that.
it's killed a
You
lot of
got
people.
no. I mean, my fucking heart, I had chest pains, bad, bad, both times. That guy at Walgreens when I got that shot, when I came in there and told him, he was like, "Oh wow." Or
Yeah,
did you
you're
go in?
fortunate, man. You're fortunate you didn't kill over because,
I said, I was clutching I had that shot like 10 in the morning, it was 7 at night or something. All of a sudden, I started getting this freaking like pain, man. Like somebody like when you take a hose and you bend it in half and, and you don't have that flow anymore and you got a real problem. And I toughed it out, man. That's just how I am. And then, I go, wow, what's the chances of this shit happening again? My mother didn't have a problem. No, my son didn't have a problem, you know, but me. And I'm like, well, because I wanted to get here, man. The only way I could get here is if I did that. And right after I get here, then they dropped some of the shit. Oh, it was like, geez.
I was so pissed. My sibling, my two sisters, talked my mother into getting. She's like 97 at the time. I'm like, she's lived 97 freaking years.
Yeah.
Look, just think what her immune system's like. And you're gonna put this shit in her. You know.
Yeah.
Then I said, oh man, I
No,
was so pissed.
I got it from somebody because before I left, I go, yeah, hey, Gary, you see my turkey neck, And I'm not thinking too much about it. And I got here. I had like 2 or 3 consecutive colds because people don't cover their mouth when they cough, So I'm thinking that's all it is. And then I was just totally hacking because my uvula was touching up. It was touching the back of my throat, and
Hey,
I had one. I
Christian,
had
that
one. I had one.
65,000 bots that's under 2,000 US dollars a month. He has his comment down there.
I had
What you
one.
need proof of having 65,000 a month income. And I think what's the rate now? It's about 34 baht to US dollars, so that's under $2,000 a month income proof, and you can stay. Is that to get kind of like a retirement visa there, Christian? I know the YouTubers have said Thailand has drastically changed their visa regulations in the last year or so. But is that for a retirement visa, Christian? That figure you put up?
I have some documentation from the government. More later.
Yeah, I don't know. How long did it take you to get that 13A visa, Tony, once you were there?
Oh God, when they start, we went before we used the service. We went to the actual office. It's in Umpayun out that way, you know. And it was about a couple months, three months, so 4 months.
I'm thinking you can go when you go over with your spouse, you can go on a Balak Bayan, right? That's good for a year. That's what I've heard from
Yeah.
other YouTubers.
Yeah, it is. It
But
is.
now, was
I-
your wife a dual citizen when you went back?
No.
Okay, because my wife is a U.S. citizen now, and she has not received her dual. I understand it's not much of a deal, but if we both go back there, we're both only U.S. citizens, then I can't do a Balak Bayan, right? Because she has
Right,
not gotten her dual yet.
Yeah, she didn't get back her Philippine citizenship.
She went in. They had an outreach. I think I told you this a few months ago. The consulate had an outreach to the city here, and she made an appointment and went to try to get dual, right? And she took our marriage certificate, right? And they said, "Oh, we need a picture of you together." I'm like,
What's that?
"What?" Yeah, to get for her to get a dual citizenship, right?
No.
She took our marriage license, and I didn't go with her, but they said, "Oh no, we also need to have a picture of you two together." And I'm thinking, this is for her individual, you know, passport, right? A dual citizenship, right? It's for her to be a citizen of the Philippines. What does it matter if she is or not married to anybody, let alone a foreigner, right?
They wanted
You know
to
what I'm
work.
saying?
Yeah.
This is for her as an individual. It's like you applying for a U.S. passport, right? And then them saying here in the U.S., well, you have to have a picture of your spouse or partner for you to get your individual passport, right? Does that make sense? I don't know. But anyway, so she didn't get her dual citizenship started while they were here. So who knows what she has to do for that.
Call
But right
Chicago.
now, we don't have any plans of going there or staying there because we still have a child in high school. So,
No, you want to be ready.
you know,
You're sticklers for that stuff here.
yeah, that's the hard part I would have about living there, okay, or moving there.
No, everything's okay now. I'm down the road.
Like I said, if I went there, if I plan on retiring there or staying there, I would just rent a place. You know, that way, if I die, my wife can do whatever she wants with the remaining, her income she'll have, or
Does
my
your
life
pension
insurance or whatever,
does your pension go to your wife?
Yeah, I stipulated that, and she gets half of what I get, half the pension I get now. It's called survivor's benefit, right?
Yeah.
I receive 10% less per month while I'm
Mhm.
alive because I chose survivor benefits. But the day I die, say if I was making $2,000 a month, okay,
Yeah.
is my pension. The day I die, she would only get $1,000 a month. But that's the rest of her life.
The COLA raises, right?
But then, of course, yeah, but then, of course, that's besides Social Security and all that shit. But then she'd have to pay health care out of that. So, but if you're in the Philippines, you could just drop that coverage and get your own.
Well,
Yeah, but the thing is, your doctor visits and all that, you gotta pay. I mean, I think they'll help you out with the surgeries or
But I mean,
the
if she's in the Philippines, she can probably just drop her stateside stuff.
what I'm saying is, well, what I'm saying is, you, like for my wife, yeah, they'll cover stuff, but they'll only, like if you have an operation or something. But if you go to a doctor and you gotta buy medicine, it's coming out of your pocket.
Right. But what I'm saying, to pay $800 a month in health insurance, it's probably cheaper to cancel it and
Oh.
take your chances in the Philippines, right?
Yeah, if you're,
Because right now, I've got like 800 or 900 coming out every month just for health insurance. Between health, dental, and vision.
it'd be a real wise thing for her to get that dual thing going. I don't know, she probably has to contact DC or Chicago consulate.
No, New York is ours, New York City. And I don't want to go there just to go to the embassy. So
Wouldn't want to either, man.
that's why we wanted to take advantage when they had an outreach program, but they needed the stipulation of having a photo of us together. So what a crock. It's always something, you know. You go down to you think all your paperwork's ready, you know, you go somewhere and oh, you needed this form, sir. Come back another time, you know.
Yeah. Hold on, I gotta get my medicine. I forgot.
Oh, you didn't take your sleeping pills yet, did you?
Not yet.
Hey, Christian, it's -7 here right now.
What's that?
I was telling Christian it's -7 degrees here. 20 Fahrenheit. And our high, if we're lucky, is going to get to -2 at 3 p.m. this afternoon, which is
Good old days.
29 Fahrenheit.
Hey,
But there's no wind, so I'm not complaining.
1981, I was in the Army. I was living up off the base up in Milwaukee. It's like 60 miles one way.
Yeah, you're outside your 60-mile limit, right? Or 50-mile
Yeah.
limit.
Yeah,
But your
but
commander didn't know, did he?
but I had I think it's after I got out. I had a 71 Cutlass thing. Drove it on 7 cylinders for a long time and beat the shit out of it. And I had that car. It was winter, and there was a -50 below wind chill. For like entire month of January, it was big time negative. And so my engine, I was rocking the car out of an ice spot, and it started on fire. The engine. I don't know where it came from. It never happened again. But yeah, I'm like, this never happened, you know. That's the car that a friend of mine said, yeah, I can do tune-ups, you know, we're both drunk or stoned or something.
What when it had points, plugs, and condenser?
Yeah, that's when that dude
you know, that,
Put it in backwards.
yeah, the points, there's
The
a
rotor
circle and a
cap.
half. Yeah, it's a half, it's a half a circle and a full circle. And it's on that little finger. It's in the little, I think that was the condenser.
It's almost impossible to get wrong unless you're really drunk.
Well,
And anything's possible.
that's probably as violent as I've ever gotten being under the influence like that. And you know, the guy fucking flame shot him right in his face. You know,
That'll wake you up.
yeah, that's something you get out of a movie, man. You know, he was like, whoa. You're like, oh, you saw Jesus, huh?
Far out, dude.
We had a lift. We had a lift. We had a 3-bay garage there, and they had a lift. They had a car
I'd love
lift.
to have a lift.
You sign up for certain time and date, what you're doing, and it's all yours. You know. So we did
Oh,
this
was
shit
that,
on.
was that at the hobby shop? Was that at a military base?
Yeah, it was a military base. Yeah.
At a hobby shop where you can rent. The,
Oh, but listen, this is on a Saturday night, and we're already fucked up. You know, so we decided it'd be a good idea to fucking head
go
down
work on
there.
a car.
Yeah, nothing like it, you know. And then he, what the fuck happened, man? I don't know what we were doing. I don't know if we were replacing something rather. And he says, and I look at this cap. It's the plastic cap with the one long piece of tin, or whatever. You know, and I like, he goes, I had it backwards. I said, what are you fucking talking about? You had it backwards. And I look at it and I go, how do you fuck that up, man? Didn't it, if you've done this before, didn't it feel kind of odd that it just didn't pop in there?
I told you about the time me and my buddy, I decided I had an old 72 Chevy pickup, 3 on the tree, right? Manual. And we decided the clutch was bad, so I needed to replace the clutch plate. And we took it all the way off, you know, just standard old driveway maintenance, you know, no transmission lift or anything. We did it all with elbow grease, right? We got the transmission out, got the clutch plate, put a new clutch plate in, got it all assembled back together, got the drivetrain or the drive shaft on, put it in reverse to back it up, and all it did was whine. We looked at each other, we like, we put the clutch plate on right, you know? You had a 50-50 chance, right?
Yeah.
Put that clutch plate on, right? The disc, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And you got a 50-50 chance, and it was the first time either of us did it. And obviously we put it on backwards, so we had to do the whole shit all over again.
That's where
that's the way
you're,
to learn, you know? That was
that's what
back
that
before
fork-
YouTube videos, right? So
That's what that fork on the clutch. We had that like that looked like a fork like ball joint tool that you
no, I'm
separate.
just talking just the clutch disc itself was backwards, you know? Because one side is just a little bit, you know, the center is a little more elevated, you know, because it's got those springs in there, right? And we just put that clutch disc on backwards, and
Dude, this old guy used to work in a factory with me. I don't remember this guy he was talking about. He said I knew him. I don't even know. Fucking the dude got some. He took apart all this shit to get I don't know, is his transmission or his something to do with the heads. He replaced what do you call it? And he dropped something down the fucking I think it was down
the spark plug hole.
Not in a manifold or some shit, you know. And yeah, he was like, he had to you know, and it took him like 6 hours, and he had to redo it all over twice, you know. I mean, he had to take it off and then put it back.
Yeah, you got to take the head off and
Fucking,
get down
you know,
get whatever you dropped.
That's where I go. You know what? If I got money, it's best to let somebody else. You know.
I mean, when my first experience with this, I had this 82 Marquis, nice rider, man. But it was white and blue interior. It was pretty decent. But
Was it blue
that
leather
car,
or blue vinyl or
that
blue
was vinyl. It was
material?
vinyl. It was vinyl. Yeah, that's where I used to. That's when I drove with my. At that time, you only had one sticker, and that went on the back plate. I had it on the. I had my back plate on the front of the car, and I didn't have a. My license was revoked for drunk driving. So I'm driving like the 6 months, suspension time with the plate on the front all the time because I worked in where I worked was on the shittier side of the city. They don't they put people over left and right for that shit. And they never once. Was quite lucky on that one.
I'll tell you, those old Buicks, those were the most comfortable
Dude.
seats. It's like sitting on your couch in your living room.
This fucking guy adjusted my car. It was something with the carburetor with the Mercury. It was like a slide. It was a slide instead of a butterfly. It was really, and I wouldn't pass emissions. So this dude goes, "Oh, man, I can do something that'll get you to pass." So he turns down the idle on it. So I'm like, I got this fucker floored, and I'm only doing 15 miles. This car, it wouldn't even, the machine wouldn't even register it because it was so slow. I'm like, fuck. All these guys are watching me. I'm going, I drove like about 8 miles like that, man. But the motor just, it barely goes.
Said, hey, you wanted to pass inspection. You didn't say anything about actually going the speed limit.
Holy shit, man. Yeah, they used to have that inspection thing in Ohio and they dropped it. I don't know if they picked that back up. And in Wisconsin, they never had one before, and they opened up all these centers, and I had heard if the thing got hot enough, it'd be better for it to pass. And I went out to another city, Waukesha. The guy goes, why you come way out here? I said, well, I'm trying to get this fucker hot, so it's burning really hot. Hotter the better. And it fucking wouldn't do nothing. I forget what I did. Oh, I know what I did back then before they got hip to it. I sold it for $500 to my dad, and then he sold it back to me. So I got another license plate, brand new sticker for the year. Or back then, I don't know if they did it. Newer cars, they do them every other year. But now we just go to gas stations. They're all equipped with them, all the service stations. So because the state shut their testing stations down, it was becoming too expensive. So they said, okay, to these gas station garages, we'll pay you. You do the test, and it gets sent right to Madison. But that was a oh my God, I could have ran faster than that fucking car was moving. The guy goes, they won't even register us. What do you mean? He goes, it's moving too freaking slow. The wheels wouldn't even spin the drums. It was, and I said, man, thanks, motherfucker, for that favor you did me. Oh Lord. It is some shit, man. I ain't got much money. I got $10. That's all I had on me. I had to get a muffler of some sort on that Cutlass, so I went and got a thrush, a hush thrush. Make
Right.
that pretty. They make that pretty good sound.
Like glass pack.
Yeah, they don't last that long, but it sounds pretty cool. Because one of my captains when I was in the Army, he goes, man, that sounds pretty cool. It was Captain Leak. His last name was Leak. A reservist went full time. And we used to have our cars backed up, put the trunk lids open, the radio station, all same station, like 10 cars, blasting the tunes, playing Frisbee, and drinking. Had a lot of good times down there. But when I had this orange
70 Camaro my friend and I bought from him. It was a 307. It was a rust bucket. But I was ready to I was going to get out of the Army either way. And I took that bumper sticker that said, "Don't stop now, re-enlist." I cut it up and I put, "Stop now, don't re-enlist." And the post sergeant or whatever recruit, he was pissed. But because it was like freedom of speech, man, they couldn't do nothing about it. I'm like, oh, really? That was my first, experience with them. Like, because I thought it'd be funny, That's all I did it for. It was a joke, and of course, my car was noticed because I got tired of orange and the rust, so I took a bunch of cans of primer, and I fucking spray painted it black. And my captain Ballard, yeah, real cool, little short black dude. He's a cool guy. He said, "What the fuck is that?" That's why I got your money, Captain. So we had a warrant officer, used to be our E6, our sergeant, and he tried like fucking hell to get me kicked out, man. You part your hair in the middle, that means you're a stoner,
Oh yeah, that was the famous thing back then. If you parted
Dude,
your hair in the middle.
We had this guy come in the mess hall, and I was, well, why is this guy in here? Because, well, I can't, I work up in finance, and my doctor says I can't sit down all the time, my back, so I had to go into something that would allow me to move around. He was a pretty cool guy, Turns out he was an MPI, military police investigator.
Mm-hmm.
Because after he was in there a couple of months, he said, "Hey," "they're watching you." I said, "Watching who for what?" "They think you're a dealer." He was the one watching. He was the one investigating. I said, I've never done that. It's stupid nonsense. Because he knew me after being around me a while, because my eyes were kind of squinty, with the hair parted in the middle. I said, "Nah, man, that was my E6 turned warrant officer." And this is when they first started doing these tests. If you tested dirty, they could kick you out because they had buku people wanting to get in, So I had smoked the night before, and I got a knock on my window, my car. When I get there, "Hey, go to put a barrack over there and gotta have a piss test." It was new.
Uh-huh.
They allowed me to take that sample cup in the bathroom alone.
Uh-huh.
And I could have put bleach in it because they didn't have, at that time it was new, they didn't have the test for stuff.
Right.
So either they got the wrong sample, or some poor bastard got screwed, or they lost mine, because I'm for sure, man. I'm thinking
It came out clean.
Yeah, it came out. Well, he said your results were negative.
And you just smoked.
Yeah, the night before. And so as if, because all the people I associated with, a lot of them, we had one guy, I used to call him Johnny Cool. Well, I was a pretty regular at the Rathskeller. It was a bar, listed bar. And it was managed by another MPI guy, Rick. Rick was pretty cool. And, he knew me. I knew him because I went in there quite often, And Johnny, one time, he's a pretty good guy. He just like this is just when they started testing for weed, to kick out. So I go outside with them, and we go around the building. Because upstairs is the officers, like a dining something or other. It's closed. So out of the corner of my eye, I look up and I see him. I see Rick, because this dude was just about to light one up, And I said, "Nah, John, forget about it, man. I ain't gonna do this shit. Well, let's go. Let's get out of here." Man. Next day, I saw No, I saw him that night, went back in. He said, you saw me over there, didn't you? You saw me in the window, didn't you? I said, yeah. He said, don't stay away from that guy. I said, okay. You know, he's cool about it. He could have busted me. But this one girl that I wasn't quite seeing her because I was still legally married, you know, and I didn't want to get out of my marriage and right back in another one. But she was good looking, little meaty, but well, her boyfriend, I was like a dumbass when it came to breaking up. I never did it, so I wasn't good at it, you know. So I just usually acted like a dick, and they tell me to get lost. I go, okay. So she started seeing this guy. He's an MP. Now in that Camaro I had, the door lock was fucked up. It wouldn't work. So I kept it was easy to get into with a coat hanger, you know. I had one made up already, so I locked the car, but when I unlocked it, I had to use the coat hanger. So I kept it in the trunk. And this guy, you know, they pulled me over down the road. I had McDonald's bags and shit and wrappers, hamburger, all over the fucking place in there. It looked like a garbage dump. And really, even in the military, they didn't have probable cause for just, you know, because I was doing the speed limit, my lights worked, you know, all that good stuff. They said, well, you went in the trunk. You opened it with a coat hanger. I go, you notice I had the key for the fucking trunk, didn't you? So it was just an excuse because they were trying to bust me. Because that dude was mad, you know, I don't know why. He had his girlfriend, but evidently she was sore about it. But I knew a couple cool guys. One MP was the post was only like 1 square mile. One or two. And they said when they were bored, they'd race each other down with the lights going on the roads, you know. And they got in trouble for that one. And they were in the administration building, and at night the maids with this what do we call them? They were cleaning everything, you know. They were happened to be in the latrine area, and these guys were bored and they were playing games like kicking in doors, you know. So they didn't realize if there was a lady in there taking a shit, and they kicked the door open, and they go freeze, you know. Spanish lady, man, you know, what the fuck? You know, screaming. There were a couple good times there, man. Mostly everybody I was there with, they stayed in. One of my friends, I forget what job he used to have. He was a E4, Spec 4, you know, specialist. It'd be like what, a corporal? Yeah, and he had to go to retreat. He got busted smoking weed. Man. He had to go to a retraining brigade, and then he busted him down to E1. So he came back. I said, "Why don't you just get out?" He goes, man, if you had a mark against you back then, you weren't getting your rank. You know, I fucked up on one of mine with where they gave up to E4. You got it. You had to do the top automatic. Well, I had to go before a board, so I had to study all this shit. I'm like, fuck, you know, they have the thing on my uniform. And the sergeant, I forget what top gun guy, not top gun. Was that master sergeant? He was, you know, the captain's right-hand man, kind of, or lieutenant, whatever. And they had all these guys up there, man. And I knew my stuff. I was just so fucking nervous, you know. They said, whatever you do when you go in there, just answer. If you don't know, tell them you don't know. But they knew they could see I knew. And they got a little picky on the placement of the service ribbons, you know. I was thinking of staying in and going in infantry for quick rank, you know, or armor tank, because I was good at tanks, man. I was good at firing them fuckers. When I was in the reserves, boy, I had these guys wowing, but they were reservists. They never saw it, you know. I sure hope reserves are a little different than when I went in, and I went for about a year after my discharge from active duty. I went in for a year, and my first meeting, man, it was a joke. It was a freaking joke. These guys smoking cigarettes, you know, fucking jackets undone, hair over their ears. You know, the sergeant mate, the post sergeant major's talking. He's in like an E8, you know, nobody's fucking listening. Fuckers, they got their own conversation.
Yeah, I had a chance to. We had what was called below the zone to make E4. You know, it was like almost a year sooner than you would automatically get it. But I was supposed to go for this below the zone board, but I was temporary duty to a school for like 3 months, right? So I wasn't at my unit.
School?
Yeah, technical school. I was electronics tech. So I had to go to all different system schools, right? So I'm down in another state going to a school. And I got back and they said, oh, yeah, you missed your below the zone board. You had to appear in front of the board and you were TDY, you know, temporary duty. And so we just submitted a package on you. Well, the other individual, and there was only one other person. So I had a 50-50 shot, you know, if I'd have been there. Yeah. And so the other person, since they were there in person before the board, of course, they got it. But I had just won like technician of the year prior to that, right?
Oh.
But for the simple fact, and I told him, I said, look, it's no fault of my own. I had orders, you know, to go to the school. All right. Well, sorry, the board came up. You missed your chance, you know. So I got screwed out of that. So I had to wait. I think it was 3 years till we made E4, something like that.
Well, it would have mattered. It would have pissed me off to have somebody that's under me be above me when it came to maybe selecting a duty station or something. You know, it just when my time came for something. But I was. With the first wife there, I was up where in Wisconsin, and the captain says, "What the fuck is he doing up there?" He lives there. Well, you're only allowed 50 miles, you know. So anyway, she was fucking around on me. So when I got back, I came back, but I was late, and I talked to the first lieutenant, and he's kind of a hot marked, you know, college boy kind of thing. And I said, hey, he asked me all these questions, talking. He goes, I said, he says, I said, this ever happened to you? Did you ever have a wife cheat on you like that? And you wouldn't understand. He said, yeah, you're right, I wouldn't, because I haven't. And he told me after it was over, he said, you know, I was about to ready to flipping lower the boom on you until you said that to me. So any black mark against you back then, because they had to pick of the litter back then. They could take whoever they wanted. If you
that was when steel mills were closing, and I mean that's why I went in, because I did a job. Steel mills closed.
It was re-up in 1983, I think. I got out in April of 83. April 29, I went in April 28 of 80. It felt like it, with the last 6 months were the fastest time went. Before that, it felt like forever, because I didn't want to really be there, but I needed a job, you know.
I went in April 84. That's when
but you make friends. You make friends pretty fast, man. You know, you start people around the world. My ex-brother-in-law was in Germany, and that guy says, I don't know how my name came up. And he goes, hey, do you know he said, my brother-in-law's in Illinois at Fort Sheridan. Oh, he knew my name, the guy knew me. And I'm like, man, people, you bond with people pretty fast. We had a guy from down south. This guy was like, he reminded me of that dude from Green. Do you ever see the movie The Green Mile? That big
No,
guy.
I don't think.
This guy was like, he looked like he fucking didn't like white people, period, man. I mean, he looked like, stay the fuck away from him, His name was, his last name was, some Knox.
I hope
Cool, dude.
I hope he was in infantry.
Nah, he was, we went on something, and he was in our detail. And he was all about team, man. And we're like, holy shit, man. This guy, he was a real good guy, Bullock was his last name. But he was just a little bit, not slow, but, slow enough to where people would fuck with you. You know what I mean? Without you knowing it.
Yeah.
And a couple of guys, when I went to airborne school, and I said, nah, I don't want to do this airborne shit no more, and they dropped out. And one of the guys in our Johnston, this redheaded dude, he was going to Fort Bragg with where he was, And I said, hey, man, take care of him, watch out for him. Because he was a big guy. I mean, he could, if he wanted to, he could fuck you up. This dude was born with fucking, like all
He's
these.
like a big old farm boy, huh?
Yeah, man. He was pretty cool. I didn't expect him. I didn't know whether he was from a big city or the country. And the guy was so cool with us. It was like we thought, wow, this fucker looks like he could just take the block off. And we looked out for him. He was a good guy. He was part of the group. And I didn't want to see anybody take advantage of him, because they could have easily have done that, But because there's all full of fucking assholes, and you're just.
Yeah,
but
we
he
had
was,
a couple guys that were like farm boys, from like the hills of Kentucky, and never been exposed, to the real world or man, people, how guys can ride,
dude,
guys like that,
My dad, we had a guy from Montana that changed his oil in his pickup every 1,000 miles. My dad was in Fort Leonard Wood, in the 8th Cavalry or some shit like that, and he told me he was in. They had this country guy in there, and they said. We're going to do a contest here. We're going to do a circle jerk. He said, the first guy that comes wins. So all these guys were making these fake like that. And he fucking shot at water, flipped the lights on. He said that guy was so freaking embarrassed, man. I had good times, man. I you know what? I think the service there would have been, for me, it would have been a job for a non-married guy, because there was just so much. There was so much stress, man, with the the women, the guys there.
Stuff. Yeah, hazing.
Well, you're waiting that your wife may be cheating on you, because if you took the family with you. You would be there 3 years. If you went by yourself, you'd be there 3 years. If you took the family, you'd be there a shorter time,
right?
Maybe a year. But in that it might happen to you more often. Plus, you gotta deal with moving everybody. It depends. And sometimes you're coming back to that duty station because you got enough rank, and they have your MOS or your job.
My dad was telling me a story, because he was Army during World War II, and he was at Fort Benning, for jump school.
I was there.
And he said they had this dude in their unit who went AWOL. And he was like from the back hills of Tennessee, you know, he was like from Appalachia, you know,
Uh,
and somehow my dad was tasked with someone else to go to his home of record and get his ass, you know. So this dude, you know, I guess being from the backwoods, the only place he had to go was home, right? So he went AWOL, but he went home. So my dad said him and I don't know, one or two other guys went to get him, bring his ass back, you know, and my dad said they showed up there. He wasn't home. He was all shit faced on moonshine, you know. He was like, my dad was like, man, come on, man, they're going to put you in Leavenworth, you know. He's like, nah, I ain't going back to that shit, you know. I ain't jumping out of planes or whatever the hell. And my dad said they had to wait till he passed out, and then they just kind of like, I don't know if they tied him up or what, but he said we had to get his best. You know, they were looking out for their buddy, you know, because they knew he'd go to Leavenworth, you know, if he kept that shit
before
up.
they had zip ties.
So he said,
You know,
he said, I know my dad was laughing. He said when we got there, he was so shit faced on moonshine. He said he wasn't much of a threat to us, you know. So we just like balled his ass up and put him in the truck and took him back with us.
Jim Croce, that song, "Don't Mess Around with Jim,"
Yeah.
was about a guy when he was in the service, and this guy was like, you know, this army thing ain't for me, you know. And he went home, and they you know, but got him and did his little thing, and then they kick you out anyway. So I don't know why they just don't do it from, you know what I mean?
I don't know whatever happened to this dude, but I know my dad said they brought him back to Fort Benning, but don't know what happened after that.
Listen, this guy, this girl, I think she was a lesbian, I'm not sure, tomboy, but she was one of the, she worked in the medic department, you know, where they come around, if you put warm meat in hot water, it constitute cooking because bacteria starts. So she was cool, and she lived I found out she lived in the same complex as me at a different building, you know. And I used to hang over there once in a while, and I said, you know, I can go back, man. I mean, I don't know, she might have been like 6 months away from getting out, or a year or something. I said, just go. Get it over with, man. You know, I wasn't. I said, I'm not going to say shit. And I'm sitting there, and here comes one of her friends. I think they were dykes, but one of her friends. I knew her. Well, I know her because she's the post medic. You know.
Yeah.
She kind of looked at me like, "What the fuck's he doing here?" You know. I saw her after that, but I never brought it up. But then every time I went there after that to hang out, she's not here right now.
I told you my first steady girlfriend, right? My first experience. She ended up being a lesbian. She went in the Navy. I found out years later. You know.
You must have failed, man.
No, I converted her, man.
Converted her, yeah. Dick was so bad.
She said, "Man, if this is all I got to look forward to,
yeah,
just give me something inanimate, you know."
Yeah.
I had a guy in my bus. I converted her, I guess.
Hey, I had a guy in my bus I'm talking to. I don't forget what about, but he, I think he was divorced, and I said, "Well, you got a girlfriend?" No. I go, "Well, what do you do?" He goes, "I go out." He goes, "I got this lesbian friend of mine. She's once in a while she wants to have the real deal, you know, because she cheats on her girlfriend and she wants to have his wiener once in a while." He said, "It works for me." goes there once a month or whatever, and you know, see you later. And, you know, got a little agreement.
I wonder how much that actually occurs, you know, how much.
I don't
want to try the real thing. I don't know.
I'm sure it does, but I'd have never, I knew a few either way, but I never asked. I mean,
I mean, that's what shocked me. You know, years later when someone told me, because she's like a cousin of my one of my in-laws, right? And years later they said, "Oh yeah, didn't you know she's a lesbian?" And I was like, "Well, she wasn't when I dated her. I know that. Either that or she
Yeah.
was good at faking it." You know.
You set her on the right road or the wrong road.
I don't know. Maybe
My
maybe
first
I was
wife-
just too good at my oral presentation, if you know.
Yeah. Or the mustache kept pricking. It was a turn on.
I did have a
my
mustache at that time, so
My first wife's husband, when his ex, my ex said that his ex looked like Faith Hill, beautiful, and she was cheating on him with a woman, you know, and turns out their son, he's gay, you know.
Gee.
But she
your
said,
ex-wife had a son with him, or no? This is the son from
no, they didn't.
Faith Hill
yeah,
wife.
no, yeah, that was from his lesbian.
So she had a child, but then she discovered that she really had feelings batting for the other team.
Yeah, I guess I didn't get the detail, but she said to me, Tony, this woman, he said his ex-wife was freaking beautiful.
I thought that beauties like that only happen in the magazine, in the like penthouse stories. You know,
Apparently
I
not.
thought it was never in the real world. You know, where they were real
I've never
beauty queens.
Yeah, you thought those articles were bullshit, so you buy it for the
Well, you were
reading.
hoping they were real while you were reading.
Yeah,
Well, whatever you were doing with them, but
well, there's got to be a reason, like the penthouse forum or something. There's got to be a, you know, it sounds like such far off fetched shit that.
But just
come on.
now, if you put, 10 beautiful women in front of me, I would suspect that any of them were that way. But, who knows what percentage could be, but that's just not the picture I get in my mind, when I hear about that. So.
I'm on my very last relationship here, period.
Me too.
If something
I'll
happened
raise
to
a
my
glass
life,
to that.
I'll retire. That's it, man.
It's just kind of, we kind of get pissed at ourselves for wasting so much time and energy on these failed relationships in our past.
You know what? Most of my time has been spent married. I think from the first to the second one, I think it was 5 years. And then I got divorced in 2005.
I think I had this coworker. I think I told you about him. He was 32 years old. He was with wife number 6, and he was 32. Yeah, 32. And I said, "Well, what are you doing?" He said, "I'm looking for number 7."
The country bumpkin.
Dude. I guess that's all we did, was look. The grass was greener on the other side. I don't know.
That ain't the case, man. Well, but
when we were little, you used to hear the ladies when they were talking about a guy that said, "Oh, he's got a wandering eye." We never knew what that really meant. Since we got old enough, we realized what that meant.
When I was a kid, if somebody was talking, they said, "Well, your auntie was divorced." I go, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Oh my God, that was like taboo shit." No.
Yeah, she's going to hell.
Yeah. Oh my God. When I was a kid, I'm like, what would that must be a terrible person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
A long time to grow up there, man.
I know there was always a big stigma. My mom's one sister, she got divorced. She had like an abusive husband, right? But my aunt got in a relationship with this guy. He's 15 years younger than her. He ended up being my uncle, and he was only like 10 years older than me,
Yeah.
But this was my mom's younger sister.
I think my mother-in-law I think she's 68 now. She's 5 years older than me. And her husband's 5 years younger than me.
Yeah. Yeah, but
He's still-
15 years. I mean, that was pretty scandalous back in the day. You know,
what year was this?
they must have
What
got
year?
together, I'd say, in the mid 70s. Because he was
Yeah, I
like an
think-
army. He was in the Army Reserves, and he was young in his 20s, and she was late
Yeah.
30s. You know, so she was a real cougar.
Matter of fact, my first wife's mother married a guy. They've been going out a long time, and he was about my age or a couple of years older, and she was, I forget what, man. She was just looking, man. She'd get drunk.
Man.
They'd come home, just sit on her laps and give us hugs.
When I was newly divorced, right, and I was up in New York. I transferred. I took a job in upstate New York, and I had living, in a 1-bedroom apartment. And I had this buddy I met at the Legion. He was a World War II. He was at the Battle of Bougainville in the Pacific. He was a corpsman in the Navy. So he saw all the shit, and had to patch up guys. But anyways, I was over his house, and we'd always sit and eat dinner. After we'd go have a few beers at the Legion, right? We'd go to his house and get some takeout Chinese or something, sit, because he had this big 5-bedroom house, right? And he was living there by himself. So he got to be a good friend of mine. Well, he got this lady friend, and she was there, and she was always like smiling at me. And, I realized she was probably like trying to hit on me, She had to been, well, shit, he was what, my dad's age. So she was probably 20 years older than me, right? I was probably about 40 at that time.
Oh,
And she was probably sick, what our age now. But she was, but she looked really good. She kept herself real well, perfect hair, makeup. But she's always like kind of hitting on me, like, and I was too dumb at the time to think, hey, maybe. And she was probably pretty damn rich, I probably should have hooked up,
Yeah.
Because I could, when you're newly divorced, man, you don't have two freaking nickels to rub together, She probably would have wined me and dined me,
Yeah. Yeah, I was 50. What was I? Down in 2011. I was about 50. In my fucking 50s, was I? I was, she was 2011.
You're
Probably
50,
40. Well, 50 or whatever, 40s, 50.
49, 50 in 2011.
It was around there, give or take a couple of years. And I go to see my cousins in Ohio. Steve's a year younger than me, Tim's a year older, and the other two are 5 and 6 years older. And talking to Steve, and he said, yeah. I said, you got a girlfriend? You live with her? Yeah. How old is she? He said 70. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? He goes, yeah, she's a good girl. It's a fucking girl. Then he left
say,
that.
yeah, but she's rolling in dough, huh?
Yeah. Well, she either kicked him out or he moved out and he went to another old one. Because I'm like, he looked like he was hurt by that. I'm like, because me and his asshole brother Tim, he's a, he had this garbage disposal job since he was 16. And I don't know if they had any alcoholics in his mom's side of town, but whatever woman he either got married to or whatever, he fucking got busted for drunk driving, so he lost that job. Lost his CDL and all that. And he gets, I don't know what he gets a month, probably gets shit now. He's a year older than me, but he ain't got enough. He don't have enough years working. And he's always drunk. His brother, my cousin Steve, he was staying downstairs in his basement. He goes, fuck, these guys are wasted by 10 o'clock in the morning.
I think I told you when I was, before I joined the military, I moved to Florida because the steel mill's closed here, right? And I had a new baby on the way, so I had to go to Florida, take a minimum wage job. And when I was down there, I had this dude that worked with me. He had this stutter, you know. He was such a nice guy, but it was so hilarious when he talked, you know, because he stuttered, had a really bad stuttering. And we were asking him, you know, we both worked at this place for minimum wage, you know, putting together Ryan home, you know, prefab walls on Ryan homes. And he's like, well, what do you do? What do you do in your spare time? He goes, I'm a gigolo. I said, what? He said, yeah. He said, you'd be amazed all the old ladies here in Florida, you know, the old widows. He said, they like companionship. So,
yeah, there's a big.
That had to be funny to be with him, you know, when he's a gigolo. He was so much fun.
Yeah.
I felt bad because, you know, everyone got on his ass.
I worked with a guy that he was a nice guy. His name was Dale. I was in the security guard thing, and Dale was old enough. He got his pension time in to retire. His cars, he got a new car for 2 years. He could work on it with a suit. He said he had a stutter thing. He was a cool guy, but he come over to where I lived by the bar. I lived upstairs. We were drinking, and he's telling me his wife got this job. It weren't for that job, you know, you don't know what they'd have been doing because she was older, but she looked young for her age, you know. And he's talking to me. He's going, you know, he's starting to do that. And I used to finish his sentence because I'm going, fuck.
Yeah, I know. You didn't want to wait for it.
Well, you know, you don't want to be rude to the guy, you know. Right. I mean, but I'm like, fuck, I can take this. Good thing I ain't shit-faced drunk because I'd be like, what the. But he was a good guy, but he had stuff. You know, I didn't laugh at him. I did. I'm just like,
yeah, I'm sure, you know, they've gotten that all their life. You know, people laughing at them. So most of them are pretty easygoing because they realize, you know.
But he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
Right.
He's nice. Right. He's enough. I can tell you wouldn't mind hanging out with him.
Right. Same with this guy. He was a lot of fun to be around.
We had this at Master Lock factory. We had these mechanic suits, you know, you could wear. It was optional. Of course, in the summertime was nice because all you had was underwear on underneath them, you know, or t-shirt, and you had it open. This dude, one electrician was a comic, man. We had a new guy, and the dude was like a farm boy, hayseed. Dude's all white guy, fucking monster looking, you know. And he had a nervous tick, you know. He'd have his hand. He didn't wear any underwear, and he put in next to the pocket was an opening where you could, if you go down in there. He said this fucker be rolling his balls around his hand.
Hey, pocket full.
Then he introduces them to the fucking boss.
Shake my hand.
Yeah, you know, the boss, his name was Rick. He was a very nice guy. I think he got the shaft. They were all cutthroat at that place. It was like the 10 little Indians of who kicks his ass the most. I mean, they were just brutal, you know. And I saw him at my ex-wife used to work there, so I went to the Summerfest grounds. They had a company party, and when I saw him, I was away from that place. Well, I was away from that place from 1999. I think I saw him. Oh my God. It was before that, man, because I didn't start 2001 to bus ground. Anyway, I saw him. He looked like he aged 20 years. You know, he looked rough, man. He got fired about a year after that. I don't know, you know. He was a good person, man. He did his job. You know, they're all looking for this magical thing. I look at how much money I saved the company. That's saving money in the first place. You know, he was He's a good guy, man. We used to go. We had a Friday night league, and they changed it to Thursday night because all these other fuckers wanted to go out and whatever. And Rick had kind of like this strip of hair. It wasn't a comb over, but it was just a, like 15 strands of fucking hair. And he used to take his pinky when he bowled, and he was sweating, and he'd take those strands and throw them back, like they belonged on this side of the head. It was like almost like Mayor Cobblepot, man. He'd take that pinky at the end and the finger next to it.
But to him, it was like a head of Fabio hair, throwing it back.
Yeah, I'm like, I never said nothing to him, but I'd say this, the guys I was standing with, I go, what the fuck is this? Shave that shit. I cut it, man. Because it had a long way to go. It was like, why don't you just nip that fucker? He would he's a cool guy, but he's one of these guys where if you fuck with him, I used to sit there and shoot the shit. When I'm in machine setup, and if the machine went down, I needed a changeover on the key mills. We had a key mill machines, a bunch of those, and I had a pager. I didn't like the walkie-talkie because then I'd have to tell them where I am. When I had the pager, I could go, oh yeah. So my incentive was do my work, and I go sit in the fucking bathroom, read the paper. But Rick, I'd go in the electrical shop and play Tetris. It's not a computer game, Rick come in there. Rick you wouldn't say nothing. Long as the machines I had were being tended to, the only problem was at the end of my night, toward the end of my night, these people worked on a lot of modules. We had modules, where they had a start to finish process, with like 11 people or so sometimes. And if those people had a machine go down, they would call about a half hour before the shit, then knowing I'm already doing something. They'd wait to call in till just before they went home. Then the other setup guy look at me, what the fuck you doing that night? I had 5 machines down. Nobody called me about that shit. I fixed one, and I'm pretty proud of this too. Not the 4 people over here. Is that what is it? We had a machine called we had a machine that the operator would feed the lock body. It had the key in it. Still, there was all, and the lock would come around this table, and a feeder bowl repair, the shackle would come down, and the machine would hit the kick plate and lock it in. Well, every day for the longest fucking time, it was like years, man. We used a uniplace, pick, release, pick, open, close, 2 fingers on there. And them things were breaking, at least 2 times a day. So in the tool crib, that dude's the one that had to fix those fuckers. Wayne, his name was. He was a ornery fucker. It took a long time to get to know this guy. And he said, what are you guys doing out there? I said, I ain't doing shit, man. Fucking screw. As soon as the screw broke off in it, it's no good. You need both screws to hold it. Had a couple airlines in the back and had a black, like fiberglass back to it where the airlines went in. So I'm sitting there one day and I'm watching it because I ain't got nothing going on. And I'm watching it and one broke. So I'm going, man, how come these keep breaking, So out of curiosity, I put that block back. I got the block off. So I pushed the finger in. It's on a shaft, little finger goes back. And sure as shit, man, that when it retracted, there wasn't enough room. It was bottoming out and hitting that block, banking it, So I made an unofficial work order. Work orders. I know a couple of fans of mine that work in a tool crib, satellite, the machine repair. They were tool and die guys. So I go over there. I said, Ron, can you board us out a little bit, see what's happening? I show him what was happening. And he did. And 6 months later, I could have swore I got a call for that. And I go, hey, Ron, man, the thing finally broke 6 months. I said, no, and I found out it was some other problem. And it wasn't that machine ran for thereafter till the company shut down this past March.
Never failed again, huh? With that same failure.
Oh, never failed again. And I'm not even the fucker getting paid to bake. I was getting $18 an hour. These dudes were getting damn near 30, And they go, well, they look at me, they go, this fucker don't know nothing. I said, well, how come it took me to figure this shit out? And you motherfuckers have been school and everything, So every opportunity I got, I would I'd just stick it to him. One dude, I showed him how to. We had a new box machine. The old ones we had were from the fucking 50s, man, and the new ones were lickety, they were fast. Even the tool room guys, the machine, the guy that did my job on first shift, skill production job, it would be down every day because those folks can fill boxes by hand if they have to. So I'm looking at it. The guy's over there, and I said, I had other shit to do, priorities, I said, you see this screw here? It's got these things they're called lugs. They look like shark fins. That when the box comes down, this one part of it squared the box so you could tuck in the bottom. Suction cup would pick another flat one and zip, zip, zip. I said, Jack, this screw is way back. It's as far back as it could go. You can't get any more adjustment out of it. You got to turn it back in and work from there, because sometimes that fucker would be out so far, you'd bending over, you're hitting yourself with it.
Right.
So he told it. He never told me to my face, but he told other guys. He goes, man, I was pretty impressed. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, those guys, the electricians and the maintenance guys, the machinists or whatever, they made the big bucks in the mill.
Oh yeah,
I mean, and they didn't have a whole lot of shit to do. They had, like you said, they had to put out fires, when it came up. But those guys, they made the money, man.
They would milk the job too, man.
Sure.
That same guy Jack was on. He was on a job on a plug mill. Feeder board repair, the plugs come down, and it would They would cut. They had like a half of the shaft, the cylinder was one that went into the lock, and it went past the kick. When you go to turn it on with your key, when you open it, it would turn inside, and it would move that plate. When it was locked, it would unlock it. It would move it back. And there was a keyway, a little ledge. I don't know if you know what it is. They have the motors down below turning, and the keyway keeps that shaft still, so it doesn't rotate freely. So anyway, I go over there, knowing because the guy praised me on that one job. So I go over there, and I said, "What are you doing, Jack?" Well, I lost that keyway. He's like, "Keyway, huh?" He said, "Yeah, I got 27 years experience or something." I said, well, maybe that 27 years of experience will help you find that motherfucker then. And I turned around, what? He didn't say nothing to me, man. Because I'm thinking, fuck you, dude. You're blowing me shit. And when it got close to time, when it got close to where they'll take anything because there's hardly anything breaking down anymore, So he would gladly take that job, or the box machine job, and milk that fucker, And first shift guys, their last break was at 2:00. They got off at 3:30. I think it was 3.
You know, the thing is, if that place never closed down, I started when I was like 19, I'd probably
Mhm.
still be working there, you know,
Yeah.
doing the
But
same
you know
old
what?
shit for the last 44 years. I'd still be doing that shit.
When you get that, when you got the shit down, it's nothing to do that. You know what I mean? You like anybody else, I always said, sometimes it takes somebody longer to catch on than others, but I'll either be as good, if not better, than the person that's talking shit.
Well,
Because
I found out like in the military, right? I'd fix shit, and other people would just be sitting around on their ass, right? And
yeah,
it ended up, it just happened over and over. So when the time came to get out, finally, I did reenlist, but then I got out at about 10 years. And I figured, oh, in the civilian world, it'll be different, right? If I'm good,
yeah.
I'll get paid for how good I am, you know. But it was the same shit. You know, I fixed everything. If you were the competent one, you ended up doing all the freaking work, right? Because the deadbeats would just sit around and collect their pay. So
They had a machine that did everything on a combination lock. Everything from the they would get the ones from the punch presses downstairs, the shell, stainless steel, and this lock would put in all the guts, all the parts, and it sat there for the first 10 years I was there, hardly ever ran, and all of a sudden it started running. You know, so it took away some jobs, but the machine itself had so many functions on it, so many moving parts, and they all had to be in time. You know? Oh, look who's here. Simon had an orgasm today. It's almost time to put the identification rings in the pigeons.
oh,
Merry Christmas, Americans.
Hey,
there it is. The Christmas
Did
There
you
it
tree.
is, look.
did you do that?
I didn't do it.
So Simon, where's the new member of the family, or is it sleeping now?
Oh, the little bunny. The little bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. She with Lily somewhere.
The only thing nice about them rabbits is they got pellet turds. They're easy to pick up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how's it
So how's
going?
things?
Is the big job finished yet, Simon, or are you just closing up?
Well, I've been closing up for the last 2 weeks, but they keep adding extras. So I've been putting more cables in, fitting all the PCs to the desk, all the big screen TVs on the walls. I've finished them, and then they've asked me to fit all the time clocks.
That one thing you posted, was that a thermostat? That black.
No, it's a
What?
Uh-oh. Somebody lost something.
me.
You must have muted yourself. What happened?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now,
Can you hear me now?
sure.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Good now.
That was a time clock, clocking in and clocking out, Kiko.
Internet's cutting out, Simon.
I'll
All
reboot it.
All I heard was that was a time something.
Yeah, I'll reboot it.
Okay. Internet all in the wall, did you, mate?
Well, presents underneath the tree, boy. Damn. Easy bake oven.
Christmas trees, man. I'm done with that. No decorations.
You don't do that. I don't.
Bah humbug.
Yeah. Nobody does here, man. You freaking party. Candy for the kids, like they don't need that.
I think tonight's the only Christmas party I'm going to, and I'm only going to it because it's my daughter's birthday. She's 22, and so, and she's working, and she's going straight from work to the party. So that's the only chance we'll have of celebrating her birthday. So otherwise, I don't know if I'd go to it because
Who's
it's going to
driving?
be some food. Hopefully, they'll have some good lumpia, and that's what I'll eat. And then
Who's
I'll
driving?
be done. We're all going together, so I don't think there will be any alcoholic beverages there. So
What the fucking
unless
point,
it's
then?
bring your own, So I
Well,
might.
Petula-
There is a distributor right across the street from this place, so I might just go get a case of beer. And
Were you ever at
for some of
Arcade?
us folks, I want to get some Labatt Blue.
Yeah. Nah, I had that, man. That's a French beer, yeah? Kronenbourg?
It's Canadian.
Oh,
Labatt's is Canadian.
forget it, man.
Close to you, across the border there. In
Well,
Wisconsin.
A little far away from her now.
Hey, Simon says, Sawadi Kop, Christian, if you're still there. What time is it there, Tony? It's almost midnight, huh? 13 minutes till midnight, your time.
Is it?
I think Christian's
Yeah.
an hour off, one way or the other.
You got presents. Who
Coming
are
up
all those
on
presents?
midnight, he might be coming up on 1, huh?
Who are all those presents, Simon? Who are they?
Who do you think, Tony?
I have
Them,
no idea.
them
all-
spoilt girls.
They're all for the girls, of course.
Easy
All
bake
for the
oven.
girls. All spoiled.
I was just telling Tony I've got a Filipino Christmas party to go to tonight.
Well, that's good.
And me and the wife and the 2 girls. Our boy's not home from university yet. He's flying home on Monday. But our oldest daughter's 22nd birthday, so that's the reason I'm going to the party.
Right.
She's working now. I told you she's working as a software engineer at a software development company. So she gets
Oh,
off at 5 and the party starts at 6:30. So it'll take at least an hour for her to get there. So
Yeah,
since
yeah.
it's her birthday, I will go to the party and celebrate her birthday there.
Yeah, why not?
Right.
If I had beer, I would too.
She's doing good. She just had her first. She's been on the job for a month. She had her 30-day
Good.
review the other day and asked her how it went. Are they happy with you? She said, yeah. So
Good.
she's
Simon,
their only new hire, so
Yeah.
she's by far the youngest one in the office. So
Yeah, but sometimes that's what they need. Them younger ones are more enthusiastic, aren't they? And they want to do well.
plus
So,
they bring her along the newer technology. They're straight out of university. They're
yeah.
probably more up to date on the new stuff, right?
Oh. Yeah, that
Yeah.
on the wall, it's not a thermostat, it's a time clock, Kiko. Clocking in and
Time
clocking
clock.
out.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Well, years ago, we used to have a piece of brown card, didn't we? We used to put in an old clock.
We punched
clock
our
in and it
card
works.
in, right?
Yeah.
Now, is that facial recognition or is it fingerprint?
No, it's
or-
fob. It's fob access. So you have a fob, and when you go for a break, you got to clock out and clock back in when you come back.
Yeah, I think that's my daughter's building that she has a fob.
Yeah.
Get in and out whenever she wants.
So basically, that's your pay slip.
Right.
That'll tell you how many hours you've been on site. And
Yeah, you remember that, Tony? Do you ever have those? It was like an old computer punch card, right? You punch your time card in and then punch the time card out at the end
Punch
of the
it
day.
pretty hard too, man.
Oh,
Scared
yeah.
the shit out of me.
well, now it's all technology now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I was
Now they
thinking they're
do-
all the way up to either iris scan or facial recognition. That's what I thought it might be.
Yeah, well, to get on the sites, Kiko, now it's facial recognition. So you have to look into a camera and it lets you in.
Right.
But them machines that I'm fitting are for the workers when they come in, clock on
Okay.
to start the
Right.
shift and clock off. Swaddy cap, Christian.
10:50 p.m. So he's on this
He's
Same
down
time
on
as I am,
Walking
East
Street.
Coast. He's 12 hours difference from me. No, he's in Thailand, right?
Yeah.
Christian's still in Thailand. I don't think he's coming up till, I don't know, maybe next week or something.
Yeah, but he might be on Walking Street now.
Oh, do they have a street called Walking Street in?
Yeah, well, one of the soys.
Pattaya or
They call them
Bangkok?
soys, don't they? Soy 6,
Right,
soy 7.
soy.
Yeah.
I watched a YouTube guy called Johnny. There's something happening. He's an Aussie.
He's in Thailand. Yeah,
Yeah, Johnny. There's something happening. Yeah,
I've seen him.
I watched a lot of his videos.
He used to do a lot here. What's he doing there?
Did you
Why
see
is
his car?
Yes, I did see that old car.
Are you familiar with that? Is that a Ford something?
Yeah, it was a Ford, wasn't it? Like he had an old Ford.
I forget what the model. We don't have that model here in the States.
It costs you buku money to import a car in Thailand.
No, this was already there, and he restored it, I think, or he bought it restored. But it's, what is it? Probably an 80s.
I think it was a Ford Escort RS.
Yeah,
That's a
beautiful,
piece of shit.
beautiful restoration job.
I saw 63 Mercury Comet when I was in Calcutta.
I used to have a Ford Escort Mexico. He'd go back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that I wish I still had it now because it's worth about 20 grand.
Yeah. Of course, manual. What was it, like a 2-liter or?
It was
bigger?
two liter, but it was a the Mexico model, which was souped up for racing. It had a roll cage in it.
Oh wow!
And I sold it for 350 quid.
Yeah. I told you now. The car I have in a storage garage is a Mitsubishi Galant VR4. I don't know if you're familiar with.
Oh
them,
yeah, the Galant. Yeah,
it's a '91. It was the original world racing car, right?
If it was, yeah.
It's all-wheel drive manual. It's a black on black.
That'll be worth a bob or two then.
Well, it's all tore apart now. It's going to need a paint job, or I might get a wrap on it when I get it done, to a color that I want. But I just have to take the engine out and put a new head gasket in. I had done that, but I did it wrong. It was my first time doing it, and I apparently did not tighten it enough or correctly, because there's a tightening sequence and
you need a
Newton
proper
meters
torque.
or whatever they.
Yeah, you need a proper torque wrench.
Yeah, I thought I was going by the proper YouTube thing, but when I got it back together, I had coolant in my number 2 cylinder. So apparently, I got it back together. I was running it, and then I took the spark plugs out to check it, and I had a wet spark plug in cylinder number 2. So I have coolant leaking, which meant I didn't do the head gasket correctly. So now I got what they call it, MLS, multi-layered steel head gasket that I want to put in.
Yeah, but you have to so many pound of pressure in it on the top.
Oh, right. Yeah, you start off, you go up to say 15, and then the next time around you go up to say 54, and then the final is up to the 80 pounds per foot torque.
Yeah.
But hopefully that's my retirement project. So
you're already retired. Still playing golf?
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry, say again.
You still playing golf? Have I dropped out again? Can you hear me, Tony?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How's your house coming along now? It's nearly done.
No, well, the house itself, yeah, but
you finished laying that slab, haven't you? The driveway.
yeah, they're doing a what do you call coat on the walls. They started it today on the concrete wall.
Yeah.
Hey, can you hear me okay? Do you hear static?
So
Can hear you now.
it can be challenging to turn in here,
Oh yeah. Do you have to use that masonry paint, Tony?
Yeah, they know what to do.
Just been in construction for like a year and a half now. We got shit to do. In front where that carport is, I want to run that all the way across to the other end.
Right.
So the whole front of the house will be a roof on it.
How many bedrooms did you build?
I mean, what?
Bedrooms.
3.
3 bed.
And taxes, my taxes, unbelievable. House and lot together, 6,028.
For what? For taxes?
Yeah,
Is that for a year?
yeah. 6,078 pesos.
I thought you meant dollars. I was going to say that's a bit steep.
What, $130?
Yeah.
We still got the wall to do, and then at the other end where he already had the pillars up for the other one's from the other end of the house, and want to go to the other end. Then there's about 5 feet, 6 feet after that. So there's going to be a high wall on the other end. So we either step that down a little bit with the span rail or some kind of roofing, where you got like a 2-foot flat piece. That's the only way to do it because it's such a short distance that it would be such a freaking dive, pitched down. It would look ridiculous, Yeah, concrete work is all the property stuff is done.
How much did it cost you to lay that driveway?
Huh?
How much did it cost to lay the drive?
Gee, I don't know what it is. Pay those guys, pay the skilled guys $11.67 a day, and the other guys, 400 pesos a day.
Nice and cheap.
Well, do
You have to feed them as well, Tony?
Yeah. So right now, because I have 2 extra guys, I spend 4,100 a day.
So you have to. Does that include the meals?
Yeah. My mother-in-law does that, so I pay her. She's kind of like the manager,
Right.
boss.
She's the foreman.
So she, I'm sending 2 of these. He brought down. He's got his 2 nephews there, and this other local guy, and him. That's 4. So I added these other 2 guys to get it done faster, which they went around the yard pretty fast. But I don't really care for some of their work. So I'm cutting loose on the 23rd. That's when they're all going home for 3 or 4 days, and I'll be back down to 3,100.
Right.
$60, $61 maybe.
Yeah.
So I got a little extra sidewalk that in the back is going to be brought all the way to the other end of the property.
What about the electrician? What does he charge?
Oh, that's about. I get my bill's about $5,300 a month.
Right.
About $100, a little over $100. That's what the mother-in-law using my electricity too.
Right.
So
They
the
probably
water-
don't have any appliances, right, Tony, in their house?
No, they just blast the stereo over there at the workers
Just
do.
probably lights and electric fan, huh?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's simple, man. It's nice over there too. And the inside is
Karaoke
good.
machine.
Nah, none of that shit. I can't have that. My other neighbor likes to blast his Sunday morning radio and everything. I think he might get pissed if I crank up Deep Purple or Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Well, so far, I mean, I got one side of the wall. The other guy put like a French drain kind of. I told him, I said, look, this one particular downspout in the middle of one side of the house, that shit comes out of there a lot. I said, that little hole you dug, that fucker be filled up in 30 seconds, man, when it's coming down here.
Yeah.
So what happens is you got this other pipe. It's like when that trap gets full, it'll go up along underneath the parking there and come up. And then that will dissipate or go down, go whatever direction it needs to go to. That's being done as opposed to drilling a hole in the wall. On one side, I got holes, but there's a road there. The person that sold all the properties put in a road there that's overgrown because nobody uses it.
Right.
So I'm running the one in the back. They're going to combine it, three downspouts there, and run it out that one wall by the road. But anybody that builds here, they're going to have to raise the lot at least a foot and a half. You know, mine's 3.5 feet plus a 6-foot wall.
What's that above the road?
What's that?
Above
that's
the road.
That's on the side with the private road. That road was put in there for the property entering the road, crossroad by me on the east side of my land. That person, they haven't built there yet. There's them, me, and 2 other ones across the road. The road is, I don't know how far, I forgot how wide the road is supposed to be. But they're going to have water no matter what. Matter of fact, that the land east of me, when we were building it, the wall, the foundation of the wall, the fucking shit was coming over like a river. You know, they had a hard time. It's like damming a dam. It's like damming a dam. You know,
Yeah.
holy. So
Hey, Simon.
for anybody out there, the water that they have there is going to be there whether it's from mine or not. You're going to have to raise it. No two ways about it.
Simon, what time do the girls get off school?
Oh, they finish at 3:15.
I see. And how do they do? Do they have a bus or do they get a ride?
No,
home,
it's
or-
only it's about 200 meters up the road to school.
Oh, it's walking distance, huh?
Yeah, it's only walking distance. Me is just doing
And what did they get off for Christmas break, holiday break? Do they get a week or 2 weeks?
too long,
Yeah.
too much time off. They're always off.
They look so much like grown-up ladies now, little young
Oh
women.
yeah, well, they costing me a fortune, Tony.
But
He said to me the other day, "Can I have some money to go to the cinema?" I said, "What, on a Tuesday night?" I said, "Cinemas weekends."
right.
And then they wanted to go and get some food after it. I said, your poor old dad's got to do a day's work to pay for that.
Last time I was in a
Tell
movie
them
theater, it was
we need to move to the Philippines just to be able to afford you.
$10 a couple years ago. That was like sanctuary when you're a kid, man. Go watch some big Panther movies. You know, any problems with anybody at school or anything, going there on a Sunday. You know, I forgot what we paid back.
Yeah, but now it's not cheap for now, Tony, to go to the cinema.
The Marcus theaters in Wisconsin, they got these freaking awesome recliners, leather recliners, man. Oh, they're so freaking comfortable.
Simon, what? It's probably minimum 10 quid to watch a movie, is it?
More than that, Kiko. It's about
12
12 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, to watch a movie.
They got seats like ours do in Wisconsin there. Marcus theaters.
It's like being at home on your recliner, you know, and you got the.
What, on a lazy boy?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're that big. They're that big.
Right.
They got
No,
a place
not
to
over
hold
here.
your drink.
Yeah, tray for eat food. Well, overpriced food, overpriced drink.
Right.
They got bar. They serve beer now, which is a fucking mistake.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that at a movie
I can
theater.
imagine what you pay for that.
You just
For a
did them.
sporting event, probably.
Most of people, but the majority possibly that would abuse that privilege to have a beer, you know. Because most people you drink till they get fucking shit faced.
Simon, how much is it for a pint of beer in your average pub there?
About £4.5 quid. £4.5.
Yikes.
Has anybody seen Gareth on his?
I know he flies to He flies to Cyprus this weekend, I think.
Doing what?
He's going to Cyprus this weekend.
Oh,
Cyprus, his vacation spot.
Yeah,
Holiday spot.
he's going there for 6 weeks.
vacation from the
Sorry,
RTL.
he's going for 3 months.
Hey, the vacation.
Simon, did you hear? Did he get his new pacemaker? Was that last year? This past?
Yeah, he got his new one. Yeah,
I got an uncle.
he had
Got a
the new one fitted.
lifetime warranty this time.
Well, that depends
I
on how
have
long you're going to live.
I have an
That's
uncle
right.
and a
It's
cousin.
guaranteed to be a lifetime warranty, right, Simon?
I have an uncle and a cousin that use those.
Could be
and,
1 week or 10 years.
Correct.
My cousin used to pass out because his heart would go too slow. And then when he had a pacemaker, and the thing only once in a while zaps. It hardly ever goes on. And my uncle's like 82 now, and my dad's younger sister's husband. He's just freaking. He can get around like anybody, man. That guy, he got a pacemaker, and he's real, man. Whatever they go in there every so often to put a new one in. I don't know how many years, I forget. But he's hilarious, man. He's hilarious, and he don't even drink anymore. He's fun, man. He's a lot of fun. Wow, man, we had almost 3 hours here.
Wow, pushing 3, yeah.
Yeah,
Way
man.
past your bedtime, huh? You didn't take your sleeping pill yet, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh shit!
It's starting to work. Well, it's almost time
Yeah,
anyway.
pretty soon.
Yeah, no. I like going to sleep or relax, but my wife goes to the pharmacy, and I went to see a doctor already. A doctor about what? So shit's wrong with me. And
I always use a CPAP machine, right? The full face mask thing. And it's got a timer on it. And I've been getting 9 to 10 hours.
Jeez.
It's not solid sleep. You know, I get up. I don't have to get up to pee. Sometimes I wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning for half an hour. And
Can't lay flat on my back.
no, I don't lay flat. I go from side to side.
Yeah, that's cool. I gotta lay on my right side because if I do it on my left, it affects my sciatica and the disc. So it'll when I'm laying there it feels good, but when I wake up, forget it.
Hey, did I mention about the guy at work? He got his arm chopped off.
Who?
Oh yeah, I heard you.
Did I mention it to you before?
No.
Yeah, heard about it.
Not me.
Yeah, well,
How's he doing?
on one end of the warehouse is a big cardboard baler, so they throw all empty cardboard boxes, and they come out in bales. Well, this machine's about 50 ton. And the 2 engineers that have been fitting it, they brought this machine from another site. So it's not a brand new machine, it's an old machine.
Mm.
But the two guys that are fitting it are experienced engineers, you know what I mean? They're in their 60s. And one day, I think it was last month, I was up on the freezer roof, and one of the lads who were working with me, he phoned me, he went, "There's been an accident." Anyway, so I come down off the freezer roof, and I seen all blue flashing lights. There was fucking fire engines, an helicopter, air ambulance, load of police, everything. And I said, "What's happened?" And they said one of them engineers has fucking chopped his arm off in the baling room.
One of the
Anyway,
two engineers. Were they just installing it?
Yeah, they were just installing it, yeah.
In production?
I know how fast those things move too there. Matter of fact, I don't know if they have one. I'm pretty sure they do, but there's like a slack wire feeder that when it
It bales basically. You throw all the cardboard boxes in, and then that bales it, and the cell then bales then.
Yeah, I
Did he
understand.
lose his arm, or were they able to reattach, or what?
Well, one of the lads who worked with me was working with me that day. He was stood with him while he was stood up, conscious, with his arm, and he said to me, he said to him, "The pain's fucking excruciating." He said, "In my arm." And he said, "I looked under the fucking conveyor belt." He said his arm was a metre away from his body, still fucking holding the hammer. He said, but there was no blood because the weight of the machine had closed all his blood vessels. So if they'd have fucking got him free, he'd have bled out. He'd have bled to death.
So was he stuck in the machine?
Yeah, his arm was strapped. The top of his arm. They cut it.
The machine made a tourniquet so he wouldn't bleed out. Right?
Yeah, so the pressure of the machine that comes down to compact the bale of cardboard, that had shut off all his fucking arteries.
Right.
So there was only a little pool of blood.
Life.
Yeah. Anyway, the doctors, there was doctors there and everything. Anyway, they give him injections and all that. But what I couldn't get over is he reached into his fucking shirt pocket with his other arm and phoned the emergency services himself.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, six surgeons managed to sew his arm back on in about 8.5 hours. And he's just started getting feeling back, so he can move his fingers and his wrist and that now.
Wow, that's
incredible.
Honestly, it was incredible because my mate who was working with me, he said, "I seen it." He said his arm was like a fucking piece of paper, crushed.
Right.
He said how they got it on. And then anyway, I found out his mate who was working with him, I seen him not yesterday, the day before, and he said there was one blood vessel that was still live, and that's why they decided to sew it back on. He said if that was gone, they just left him amputated, but because he had a live blood vessel that was safe, they managed to fucking do microsurgery and all that.
What amazes me is how they can connect the nerves.
Yeah, how they can do it.
Feeling again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the sad thing is with this guy, he was due to retire in this December.
Wow.
He had about 3 weeks left before he retired when he did it.
Wow. Well, he will get disability on top of his retirement, right?
Oh, he'll get everything, yeah.
Yeah, he should.
Anyway, so I said to his mate, I said, because the fella who had his arm cut off, I used to talk to him every day, have a cup of coffee with him for the last 8 months. He was all right. And I said to him, when you see him, because he knows me, I said, tell him who's going to roll his fucking cigarettes now, because he did hand rolling tobacco.
Right.
I said, ask him who's going to roll his tobacco now. Well, tell you, it just showed. I said, he's really experienced, been doing it all his life, fitting them machines. Well, he said, he just made a mistake that day, and that was it.
Yeah.
He said on the new balers, he said if the bale cutter drops, he has a safety bar. that stops it
It
from.
comes out and stops it. Yeah.
He said, but this machine, because they brought it's an old machine from another site that they're using to save money, because I think they're about £1 million, these machines.
Right.
And this was an old one from a site that was shutting down. They didn't have the safety protection. I said, well, that's a claim. He'll get fucking thousands and thousands of pounds in compensation for that.
Still gotta let.
But I'd rather have my arm, Kiko.
Right. Right.
Still like, you gotta, what do you call it when they get rid of the?
Yeah. There's a lot of
impurities
safety
in the
procedures,
blood.
interlocks that you be aware of, and maybe I'm not saying it was his fault, but maybe he took some shortcuts, or
Yeah. All right.
Listen, there was this guy, there was a young guy, worked at a place called Caterpillar. They make excavating equipment.
Caterpillar.
Yeah, well, it used to be called, they're not Caterpillar, Caterpillar closed in Milwaukee a long time ago, way back in the 80s. But I'm talking about a place called Bucyrus, Erie. It's just called Bucyrus now. This young college student was underneath this, it was a press of some kind. I forget what. And he went underneath it to move a piece of strap, plastic or something. And that fucking thing came down and flattened him like a pancake.
Jesus.
Because the machines are going to finish their cycle. They got all that energy stored. And it's going to finish before it goes back. He didn't even, he thought doing what he did probably be no big deal, but
Yeah.
he couldn't have
Yeah.
felt nothing.
I had a guy when I was 19 and got a job in that steel mill where they had long metal lathes where they put the threads on the end of oil field pipes, big steel pipes.
Yeah.
It ranged all the way from 1 3/4 pipe all the way up to 20-inch pipe. So
Yeah.
they
Like
had
threading
these
it.
strong metal lathes, and
Yep.
that sliced the threads, either male or female end of the pipe, right? So they came out, they were like razor blades, right? All the
Yeah.
shavings. And the guy operating the lathe reached up over to tighten a chuck or something. He had a belt on. Well, one of the bolts, in the spinning chuck, I mean, it was stopped when it happened, but somehow he hit something, started the lathe, and his belt loop got stuck.
Jesus.
The bolt head caught his belt loop, threw him over the machine, and I didn't see it, but my buddy said that his intestines were showing, because it ripped his stomach. I guess the guy survived, but it wasn't a pretty picture, when your intestines are laying outside your body.
Intestines?
That was probably in 1981, so
I like how
they had the medical ability, to pick somebody up like that.
Jesus. Well, listen, I'm going to get going.
I was glad I wasn't there to witness that.
So, Tony, you going?
I'm going to go to bed, yeah.
All right.
All right, sleeping pills kicking in, huh?
Say
All
hi to
right,
the Twit.
fellas.
Say hi to the Twit.
We'll
Simon,
catch it on the
take care.
next one, eh?
Yeah, I'll be here next week.
Okay.
Tell the Twit I said hello.
Yep. All right, Kiko. See you later.
He left. Thanks for stopping.